There should be no pairs with 4 in it. If you have a pair with 4 in it now, please let me know right away. like to ask everyone to keep your score sheets in the basket for us, please, so we can find them easily and record the scores. Good luck and good bourbon.
Can't you see? Whoa, can't you see what that woman has been doing to me? You know who sings that song, Mike? Who was it, Kyle? Marshall Tucker Band? The Marshall Tucker Band.
There you go, bud. There you go.
We heard it on the way up here, and it just felt so appropriate. We got 2 hours of sleep.
Feeling good.
What day's a woman?
You guys ready for me to take it out to the lanes for you?
I'm ready. I thought Brad said he was the intro guy this week.
Yeah,
So
I'll do the intro. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Brad and Kyle YouTube channel, where today we're in St. Charles, Missouri, bowling the Brad and Kyle Women's Open, the very first tournament that we have ever slapped our name to. Kyle, are you excited?
yeah. It's a little nerve-wracking.
This is what 3 hours of sleep does. Okay, so a couple details about the tournament. Like I said, first one ever that we've ever had our name actually attached to it. The format is 5 games. We're getting ready to bowl right now on a longer pattern, 45 feet, called Mexico City. Then we're going to have an hour break. We're going to redress the lanes with a short pattern. All the players are going to be able to redo some services, go to the truck and get some new balls, and then they're going to come in, throw a bunch of urethane, and bowl in this short pattern. Then after those 5 games, we're going to cut to a top 5 step ladder, where we will eventually crown a champion. And we have this beautiful trophy that Larry had made for us, made out of marble. That's just looks really good and is heavy, and really proud of that. We have a trophy.
Yep, we want to give a special shout out to our sponsor, Bowler Depot. They have put up a lot of money to make this event happen today. They also have a giveaway going in the chat, so click the link in the description for the giveaway. But yeah, Bowler Depot, huge shout out if you haven't. Check them out. We're going to be plugging them all day because they help me and Brad out a lot, and they're just amazing sponsors. So yeah, we have some of the best women in the world. Some of you may have tuned in last night for the inaugural Women's Midnight Bowler Society event, where we saw a lot of grinding, really hard pattern. But today's a little different. Now they're bowling on 2 different patterns, a long and a short, 2 5-game blocks, top 5 step ladder, pretty normal, pretty standard, and another big day of bowling. These girls are bowling for $4,000 on top.
Yeah, and this kind of format is something they're more accustomed to. The pattern isn't as hard. The format's more normal. This is a similar format they would bowl on the PWBA tour. So, last night the pattern is such one where it's just really hard to shoot a 200 game, and today there is a level of difficulty, but not nearly as much as last night.
Yep, we have a really good mix in the field between some local and amateur bowlers mixed in with a lot of the best PWBA stars that their tour has to offer. So we have some of the best women in the world coming to bowl. We can't thank them enough for their participation in this event. Brad and I were super excited. Again, like I said, this first tournament we've ever ran or been a part of. So it's a really cool feeling. We're really happy to have the support of the women.
Yeah, no. I was looking to hear some feedback last night about the women bowl in that kind of format, and I haven't heard any negative. I've only heard some positive, but it's just such an interesting and unique format that it's you're just interested to hear some feedback. I think that gambler's mindset that a lot of guys have, probably a little more natural than women, kind of suits that format a little better last night. So
Right.
the fact that women were able to come in, put up $500 and bowl pretty much a cash game or a pot game every game for somewhat of high stakes was really cool.
And some of these women have to be a little tired because last night was a little bit of a late night. That's kind of the culture of the Midnight Bowler Society. I mean, it's called the Midnight Bowler Society. So we bowled a little late. The quick turnaround this morning. We'll see how some of these women do that bowled last night, but they're pretty used to it, and I think they're not going to have an issue for the most part. So we got some bowling going on. We're going to be streaming 11 through 12, or 11, 12, 13, and 14, and then pairs 19, 20, 21, and 22. In front of us, we have Julia Bond, PWBA star, up-and-coming star.
Up-and-coming star.
We have Sydney Brummett, about to throw a shot on 14. Julia with a nice turkey to start off the game.
Yeah, this is much more in their wheelhouse. They've bowled on this pattern hundreds of times probably, just going to junior gold every year and team trials every year and bowling at Kegel Training Center every single day. Look at that, Sydney Brummett.
Yeah, Sydney's coming to play today.
She didn't make any money last night.
No, that's easy to do, right, Brad?
It's easy to do. I did it 2 years in a row. It really lights a fire under your butt, though. I mean, is that Brianna Klimmer?
Yep.
Over to the left. If you're watching that washout on the left side of the screen, that was Brianna Klimmer. You want to know how I knew that?
I don't know if you want her. Why you got to give her the shout out on the
washout?
The washout, man.
Oh, she's not affected by it. When she stands on the approach, she has her left arm sticking out.
Sticking out. It's a
not
little
on
unique.
the ball.
So what actually, I'm pretty sure though, why that's happening is that actually is a drill, and I think Brianna got so used to doing that drill and thought that she was just bowling good with it that she just says, hey, I'm going to start like this every shot. Now, you know how strong you have to be to just have your left arm out holding that ball with your right arm ready to go. Imagine that. None of that weight is in the offhand of the ball.
I know.
It's not even balancing. It's nothing. So
I'm not even strong
pretty
enough
amazing.
to do that. Is Brianna Cote wearing a Columbia shirt? Like the country of Columbia? It's got to be.
I don't know. I don't think she's from there, so.
I know. Sydney.
Anyway, chat, we really appreciate your participation throughout the day. It helps us keep going here. Sometimes we run out of things to talk about, and you guys give us a little blood. So last night we got to 1,300 viewers, which was amazing. That was way more than we've ever had on a stream, so we're really happy about that. This event's even bigger and better, and hopefully we can maybe surpass that number today. So if you're out there, share it with your friends, share it with your family. I know it's a little early on a Saturday, so hopefully later in the day we can maybe get up to those numbers. But chat, anyway, thanks for the participation. Let us know who some of your favorites to win, or who would you like to see win and do well in this event. Let us know. Brad, who's your pick for today?
Sydney.
Sydney Brummett.
Well, I got to pick someone who blanked yesterday. So it's either that. I think my pick coming in to this whole weekend was Jordan Richard.
Okay.
So either Jordan Richard or Sydney Brummett. Both of them had pretty disappointing nights last night. How about you?
I think Jordan. I know. Yep, they're bowling on a long pattern. I think she's going to have a lot of success. And then the short pattern, I also think that she can probably throw a purple hammer and have some success. So.
The lady up on lane 13 right now, right in front of us, getting ready to throw a shot right now. Look at this. Look at this. Oh, look at that balance. We're going to watch her throw another shot, but I don't know who that is. We need to find out who that is, Kyle. I've never seen her in my life, and she's got a better release than you do.
It doesn't take a whole lot, really.
Julia. It's no good. Just analyzing right in front of us, Julia Bond and Sydney Brummett are bowling together. I'm sure they bowled together literally, every tournament of their lives together. I'm sure they're around the same age. Bowled college. No, Sydney went to Wichita and Julia went to Nebraska, so they probably didn't meet each other much.
Probably not.
Because Nebraska is just purely NCAA. Okay.
I believe so. They might have bowled each other in some stuff, but.
And Sydney is throwing a parallax, so they both have register. There's no register. It's all one thing. So yeah, they're both throwing parallaxes. I'm stuck on the 2-ball thing.
Yeah, last night was a little bit of a different format for those of you who didn't get to watch last night.
Yeah,
they only registered 2 balls.
All I was doing was answering a question in the chat.
Nice. I'm glad you're monitoring it over there.
I'm good. Yeah, it is open, so you can walk in with 37 balls if you'd like.
And with the dual patterns, I mean, it's a good idea to have a little bit more options. Balls that are going to work on this long pattern may not necessarily be all right on the short pattern in the afternoon block, so it's good to have a wide variety in your arsenal.
Looks like Jordan Richard spare game is still
A little questionable.
Yeah, still questionable. But man, that solid 8 last night. Yeah, that was brutal. She just couldn't quite put it all together, but I'd keep an eye on her today. Yeah, well, I mean, obviously Jordan Richard, you know, even after a subpar performance last night, she's one of the better bowlers in the field. And she knows it. The lady who just threw a shot on the right lane of the left pair, that is Felicia Lightfoot. And that is Randy's daughter. And she was pretty much just a recreational bowler up until about a couple years ago. She decided to bowl for a college, and she's not off to a great start, but she has gotten so much better. It's really kind of crazy to see how much better she's gotten. And the fact that she's even chewing up, like, it just shows where she's at. So it's good. Proud of her. Over on the right side of the screen, you're going to see a spare shot at a 1-2. That is Shannon Grimm. Coming off a great night last night. She's kind of like, she's very quiet, she's not super talkative. She doesn't really stand out. Her game doesn't really stand out, but she bowled for McKendree, and very simple. And this is one of her first experiences of bowling against really top-level competition. And last night, I'm sure she showed herself some things. She actually made a little bit of money yesterday.
Brad, let's see what kind of action we have on 19 and 20, 21 and 22. We're about halfway done with this game. Julia has had a hot start, but
falling
spare
off.
game's a
We got
little.
Galante sending a text message. Jennifer Helferstay, Olivia Sandham. A couple of sleepers right there. Well, Olivia's pregnant. Makes it a little tougher, I think.
I can't speak from experience, but I would definitely imagine that it's a little harder.
And then Jen has a 4-bagger and a spare, so we're hoping for good things from Jen. I know she was really looking forward to last night and being able. She didn't bowl the guys one, did she? She hasn't bowled the guys one yet.
Did she?
She's definitely one of those girls that'll shoe up, though. You know, that's what I like.
Oh, 100%.
That was my point. Was like, you know, she's been around the St. Louis area.
No, I don't think
her
she
whole
did
life,
because she backs Cody.
Okay, yeah, she just kind of hangs out.
Yeah.
But she's definitely one of those girls that will shoe up against anybody. And St. Louis is known for the higher scores and the house shot and that whole jazz. And you would think, you know, the high rev guys would eventually, but she puts it to them. She is a house shot queen of some sort.
Hey guys, I've got a roster here of all the bowlers that are participating today. If you'd like for me to run through the list.
Mike, I would love for you to run through that list.
Okay, so the first thing is today, and I'm sure you guys have talked about, is we're using more lanes. We're using lanes 5 through 32 in this 32-lane bowling center here today. So down on lanes 5 and 6, we've got 3 on that pair, which is pretty consistent across the house. Nicole DePaul, Christine Gill, Brandy Bronca. Brandy was the queen of the night last night.
Yes, she was.
She was a beast. On lanes 7 and 8, we've got Christina Hartle, Rena Sabo, and Brianna Cote. Lanes 9 and 10, we've got Shamika Benz, Crystal Kearney, and Brianna Klimmer. 11 and 12, 13 and 14 that we've had on our pairs here that we're covering on the live stream. We've got Raven Henninger, and it just says Merklinger. Do we know a first name on that one?
Wasn't it Jessica?
Could be. And,
and
Felicia Lightfoot.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to get roasted for that.
On lanes 13 and 14, we got Andrea Greenwald, Julia Bond, and Sydney
Merklinger is
Brummett.
Chelsea, by the way.
Chelsea.
Chelsea, got it, okay. 15 and 16, we got Shannon Grimm, Carrie Smith, and Devira Buckley. 17 and 18,
Good.
Henderson. Who's Henderson? We know that one? Just Henderson. on
What
here.
pair?
19 or 17 and 18?
Yeah, that's Danielle. Duh, that's my student.
Okay.
Two-hander.
Danielle Henderson.
The one lone two-handed woman in the field today.
Okay. Taylor Bailey and Sydney Urban. On 19 and 20, Jordan Richard, Olivia Sandham, and Ashley Galante. 21 and 22, Jen Helferstay, Astrid Valiente, and Kim Hannon. 23 and 24, got Courtney Bayer, Haley Richard, and Jen Higgins. Jen Higgins in the house today along with Dan. He's here watching her. 25 and 26, Tanya Rumpemper, Diana Zavilova, and Erin McCarthy. On 27-28, Verity Crawley, Shannon Plahowski, and Sylvia Gant, along with Maria Jose Rodriguez and Lauren Pate on 29 and 30. And then 31 and 32, rounding out the field today is Margie Gish, Shannon O'Keefe, and Jessica Burgess. So that's your field for today. According to my calculations, if it's 3 on a pair, and we're using, what is that?
I believe it's 3 on a pair, except for one pair has 4. So we have 46 bowlers today.
Yeah, sounds right. 46. It's a good turnout.
What do you think of this field, Mike?
It's a good field. It's a very good field.
Feels kind of like a tour stop in a way.
Yeah, you know, if we were doing our due diligence here, guys, we would be able to total up the amount of PWBA titles in the field and be able to report that to you. I would say, what do you think we have? About 15?
Ooh,
Doesn't
how many does Shannon
have 15 alone?
Well, I guess we got to be careful because the PWBA Tour hasn't exactly been around for a while.
But Shannon's got 7
A little
herself,
hiatus.
right?
Yeah, I
Maybe
think
8. Maybe
between
10.
How many does Plahowski
Come on,
have?
chat. Help us out, chat. How many?
Plahowski has
PWBA titles
none on the rebirth of the tour.
The rebirth, but before.
She has 1 Queen's title, I believe it is.
Okay.
Does Shannon have any before the rebirth?
Yeah, the one Queen's title. Which Shannon?
No, O'Keefe.
I don't know.
This
no,
is why
no,
we
she
have a chat.
No, she hasn't because it was only majors. And the majors that she's won the Tour Championship twice, and she's won the Queens once. She owns 3 majors, and that's been since the rebirth of the tour.
15 might be a good number here because Liz Johnson isn't bowling.
Right.
So
Kelly Kulig isn't bowling.
Well,
Carolyn Dorn-Ballard isn't bowling.
And, you know, Diana's got, I think she's got 3 titles.
2 queens.
2 Queens and a regular title. And Verity does not.
Brianna doesn't. Cote.
Sid does not.
Julia Bond does not.
Do we know that Brianna Cote doesn't have a title?
I don't know. That's what I was asking. That was more of a question.
I'm pretty sure she does not have a title.
She's definitely had some championship.
Oh, she was the
appearances.
top seed at the Queens.
Yeah.
Yeah, but she did not win. She lost to Missy, right?
No, she lost to Shannon.
Shannon.
Ah.
It was in Reno.
So Galante, no. Yeah, 15 might be close. Maria,
Now that she's a champion.
Yeah.
she's got a couple.
She's got a major.
Definitely has a Queens. Diana has a Queens.
I think she won the
2.
first tour championship.
If McEwen would have showed up, we would have hit a home run. McCarthy.
Aaron's got a title. Josie Barnes has 3 titles, by the way, but she's not bowling. Jordan Richard has a title.
How good is Josie? Oh, so Cote has 1.
I thought she had 1.
Sorry,
Bree has
I was
1
over
in
here.
2016 Lexington Open. I remember that.
Just move it to the right.
So Diana has 2 Queens and 2 regular titles. Shannon O'Keefe does not have any before 2015. Shannon Plahowski won 2006 Queens and 2014 BPAA All-Star. Is that an official PWBA event? Mike's on it.
I don't think so.
This is
Those
why we
you-
have a chat, though. Jordan has 2. Cote has 1. Diana has 4. That's 7. Did I say Plahowski? Fulhowski has 2, so that's 9. And then whatever O'Keefe has.
Just looking at 2018 here. Jordan Richard have 2 titles?
Yes. Someone in the chat said they're never wrong.
Maria Jose Rodriguez won the Tour Championship in 2018.
Wow. He's a beast. And the Queens. So yeah, closer to 20.
Coming to you. There you go.
Okay, so we're going to watch Astrid right here clean up this split. Okay, tough start for her. We are going to flip back to the first pair right in front of us, finish their 10th frame, and then we'll go back. Felicia up in the 10th frame. Raven Henninger, who is a friend of mine, and she's married to Mark Henninger, who is a Kansas City local, has really started bowling just again about a year ago, and she was one of those players that used to throw it really hard, and that was her A game. And just lately, she has learned to throw it much slower, which is going to be the key component on this particular pattern. And she is your A bowler on the top left who can strike out for 216. So someone I'm kind of paying attention to. We have a 234 over on the right pair. That is Julia Bond. And Sydney Brummett is in the 220s now, so she can strike for 228. So a couple of good starts right there. 234 for Julia Bond, 228 for Sydney Brummett. A couple of younger PWBA stars.
Tell you what, I'm loving the pace today.
Pace is fast.
It's good pace today.
It's great pace. Probably could have started an hour later, but at least the pace is good. I'm in your neck of the woods, bowling the Logo Infusion singles today. Nice. Good luck. O'Keefe has 13 titles. That's a lot.
That is a lot.
That is a lot. So I think we were more than 15.
So we're like 25.
25. 25 titles in the building.
Yeah, that's more than. Yeah. Yeah.
Tomorrow we're going to have actually probably about 25 PBA titles in the building.
Yeah, all from Tommy.
And yeah, almost all of them from Tommy Jones and Chris Prather.
And Prather. Those are the only 2, right? Unless Pete Weber's bowling.
Who's Prather bowling with?
Biondo.
Seriously, Brad, I bowl with you all the time, and I can't get a little love. I'm contributing half a title to that. Jay, who's Prather bowling with?
Yeah.
Yeah, Biondo. Brandon Biondo.
.567 viewers. Just to remind everybody, today's format, we got 5 games for you this morning. And then we're going to take about an hour to an hour and a half break to let the ladies grab lunch and redress the lanes with a different pattern. And then we'll be back. What time do you think that is? About 1 o'clock?
I'm thinking about 1, give or take 20 minutes either way.
Yep. So around 1 o'clock, we'll be back with 5 more games for you. And then all pins are going to carry over for the next 5 games. And then we're going to cut to a step ladder, which is how many? 4? The top 4 step ladder?
I believe it's a top 5 step ladder.
Top 5 step ladder.
Okay, so there's a top 5 step ladder that'll come to you right after that. Do we know what pair we're going to use for the step ladder?
Mike, we're either going to use 11 and 12 or 13 and 14.
So
we got to figure that out.
We got a lot more than 20 titles tomorrow.
We do. Is Pete bowling?
Yep.
Oh, well, yeah, that crushed it out of the building now, didn't it? When you have one of those,
What's
3
he got?
guys that
38 or 40?
something like that.
Pete Weber has 40 titles.
Yeah.
At least, probably.
I'm not sure if I bowled 40 events.
I don't know if he has 40 guys.
He's close. He's
Dude,
30.
he's up
30,
there.
38,
Did Norm pass him?
37.
Norm won 2 this past year. He was close. Parker was close to him as well.
37 titles for Pete. Norm has 40.
37 titles. You know, Pete's still the guy that if I could see, just how cool would it be to see Pete make one last TV show?
Oh.
Well, he did. May the king of swing.
Okay.
The king of the lane.
King of the lanes.
Okay. Which he bowled phenomenal on.
Oh, he did. He looked great.
He looked really good.
was
That's what I'm saying.
focused,
It
too.
gives some hope. Like, Pete, come on now. Let's make one
I
more.
love the Blues jersey that he wore too. That was cool.
We need one more crotch chop at least in my life. Like, I gotta see that again.
There's been 3 times in Pete's career that I said to myself, we're never going to see him on TV again, and then he came back and won.
Yeah, one last hoorah would be.
And a victory lap would be nice.
That would be nice. I mean, Pete, if you're listening, Norm's getting it done.
Well, Norm's retiring.
Yeah, Norm said. I feel like
He's
Norm has also said that for the last like 5 years.
I watched a telecast in 1997 where Norm ran him over, and he said to Earl Anthony, who interviewed him after he won, he said, "Norm, what is this about you retiring?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm just getting tired of being out here." This was back in 1990, like the late 90s.
Yeah, but he actually can't bowl anymore. Like, his body can't hold up 60 games in a tournament anymore. His elbow hurts. He's always like doing, one of these.
So, guys, the scores are pretty low this first game. We have a couple good scores right in front of us here on 13 and 14. I believe Julia Bond, 234, Sydney Brummett, 225. Other than that, that's the only 200 games that I see around us. 2-0 at the low end of the building. Looks like Danielle Henderson is she's in the 230s.
Dang, how old is she?
15.
And we're gonna put scores out on Brad and Kyle Facebook page. Is that correct?
Yeah.
That is correct.
We are still. Danny was supposed to send me the 8-game total from last night. I guess he took it all the way home. I figured there'd be one at the house. But we will be updating you on the overall scores for last night. And I would like to, at some point in time today, when we get a moment, maybe at the break, configure kind of money in, money out from last night. See who kind of won the most and who didn't. I think that'd be really cool too. So guys, if you want to, there is a link in the description of this video, and that link will take you to a place where you can enter your email address, and you can sign up for a bowling arsenal giveaway, essentially. September 1st, Kyle and I are going to be picking one winner, and the winner will get to choose from a 3-ball arsenal that I have put together, or a 3-ball arsenal that Kyle has put together. I was just going to go to yes, yeah. And the arsenal that I put together is an Idle Pearl, Phase 2, High Road X, so you will receive those 3 balls. And Kyle has put together 3 Brunswick bowling balls, 2 of them which have not been released yet. So there's 2 mystery ones, and then I think like a Redemption Sol or something. I'm not exactly sure his other ball. But so yeah, if you go in, enter your email address, September 1st, you have a chance of winning 3 bowling balls. And that link is in the description of the video.
And look at this. Let's see how good I am.
Oh, there we go. Actually, we got it up.
No, I will in just a second here. Just got to zoom a little.
Got a lot of tabs.
And boom.
Here we go. So the link will take you to this 3-ball giveaway. They build the arsenals. Winner picks from the 2. Enter below. You enter your name, email address. And then there's a little caption here that says, "We will not spam your email address."
Right there. That's how you enter the 3-ball arsenal giveaway. The link is down below in the description here on YouTube. Make sure you go get in on this. These guys teaming up with Bowler Depot, a great sponsor. Right there. You can check it out. 3-ball arsenal giveaway.
Yep.
No reason not to.
It's free.
Absolutely free. So there you go. I'm gonna let Kyle see this. Kyle's gonna really enjoy this. I just want you to see how great of a producer I am here. Look at this right here. We've got it up on the screen for everybody.
You pulled up the
right here. There you go.
Which arsenal do you think is going to get chosen, Mike? Me or Brad's?
Well, they don't even know your 2 balls.
I'm telling you, but that's why they're getting the new.
They are getting the new.
They're the balls that are 2 of the balls that are going to be in the arsenal that you get to pick from mine aren't even released
It just
yet.
depends. Do they want the new or do they want the OG? Because that's pretty much what it is. The proven. The idle pearl, the phase 2.
What's the skip procedure here today?
We're just moving one to the right, I believe.
Really?
No.
Nope,
no.
skipping one.
That doesn't seem.
Because Crystal was on 11 and 12. No, skipping 2.
Skipping. Yeah, it looks like
Yeah.
they're skipping 2.
That makes a lot more sense
Yeah.
to get everybody through the house. So we're gonna have Shannon O'Keefe on 9 and 10 over here.
She was down on the in pair.
She was, yeah.
Brandy Bronca looks like it's going to be on 11 and 12. Brianna Cote, 13 and 14. Couple notable names.
Scores
Again,
are a little higher than last night.
a little higher, but they weren't very high
They really
around
weren't?
us. There were a couple of big games right in front of us. Other than that, I saw a 226, 220, I think another 226, and a 230 game. Other than that, those were the only 200s on the about 8 pairs that are in front of us here, down on the lower side. So these ladies, again, they're going to be bowling on 2 different patterns today. This 5-game block, they're tackling the Mexico City pattern. It's 45 feet. They're going to come back in the afternoon. They're going to bowl on Beijing, which I believe the version we have is 35 feet. Not the newest Beijing. We wanted to go with a shorter pattern. So this Mexico City pattern is tight. Playing around the track area, when we talk about that, we were talking about somewhere around 8 to 13. Somewhere around there, you're going to see a lot of the ladies, and then they're going to be migrating in. You're not going to see a lot of ladies playing closer together. You're going to be playing around that 10 second arrow area. Some of the ladies can get into third arrow. Then you're going to see probably a slow migration left all day for these 5 games. Then we're going to cut to a top 5 step ladder. These ladies will be bowling on a dual pattern in the step ladder. So one pattern will be the long pattern, or one lane will be the long pattern, and one lane will be the short pattern. That's tough to do, Brad. That's tough to go back and forth between 2 completely different strategies on 2 separate lanes, especially when you're trying to bowl for this amount of money.
Yeah. Especially Mexico City. I've always hated Mexico City.
Didn't you, at team trials one year, didn't you crush Mexico City?
No, I crushed Paris.
Paris, you led the day, right?
Oh, yeah.
Brad Miller,
Crushed him.
the bald eagle himself, 1 year at team trials. If you guys aren't familiar with it, it's a great tournament. And back when Brad did it, there was actually a lot more adults. Now it's a lot of youth bowlers, which is great, but there were a lot of really, really solid amateur adult bowlers that bowled. And Brad Miller himself won a day at team trials on Paris, the most China pattern in the history of WTBA pattern.
Yes. And that was the year I took all – I had this theory that I was going to take all pin-up equipment and I was going to hit – if I ever needed something to roll earlier, I was just going to hit it with surface.
How did that go for you?
Terrible. You know what?
You know that's my strategy every tournament.
Now it is for me, but back then it wasn't
Back
good for
then
me.
it was a
That
little
one
different.
ball I used that day on Paris was a pin down. What's one of the not a C system? I don't know, some like higher end Brunswick ball that was pretty good that I used. But
Nexus?
Nexus, solid.
Nexus
Dude,
solid.
we threw that ball. That was actually a really good ball.
That was a very good ball. Is it weird that I know what ball you
Nexus
were throwing then?
solid, I know. Well,
That's when you could shimrack
you've been
it,
a
you
Brunswick
could
guy
get
your
left.
whole life. Have you been a Brunswick guy your whole life for the most part?
No, I was. It was kind of crazy. Columbia 300. I was when I signed with them. Originally, I've thrown Columbia 300 pretty much my whole life because Eddie Bird in the pro shop here was a Columbia 300 staffer for a long time. And
well, you
I
guys,
really idolized him, so I always wanted the Columbia 300 bowling balls.
but you guys didn't have to throw Brunswick in college.
So we had to throw Brunswick for our first 2 years, and then we switched to EBI for our last 2 years, I believe is what it was. So
How good were those balls the first 2 years?
you had to pick and choose. I didn't throw a lot of Brunswick stuff, so it was a lot different than the EBI stuff I was throwing. So, but I tell you what, there were some in there that are still some of my favorite balls today. The original Aura,
The original Aura was good.
that was a very good ball for me. Used to go to tournaments. We had a 5-ball arsenal and I would have 4 Auras and a spare ball. And then LT48, melee jab, we were throwing a lot. A couple of the C systems. There were some really good options. Unfortunately, I was a little late to the party on the Nexus Solid. That was a pretty amazing bowling ball. I wish I could have thrown that one a little bit more. But
You know what was also good that was close to the Aura was the Siege.
the Siege, yeah.
It was like the same ball.
Didn't they have a couple different ones? Like there was a Siege.
There was a
or
red one.
Wicked Siege. Or
Wicked Siege, that was a pretty good one.
Yeah, I've never really been a bowling ball nuts, and I wasn't throwing Brunswick too much back then.
I mean, and to be honest with you, if we're just being honest, the Brunswick balls 10 years ago weren't the greatest. You know, they had that animal line, the Anaconda.
You know, to
and
each
the
their own, Brad.
Copperhead.
I threw that Anaconda, and I love that ball.
No way.
I remember I drilled that ball out of the box. I was like 15. I came down and practiced with all these Lindenwood knuckleheads, and we were bowling on a U.S. Open pattern, and I absolutely whooped up on them with a fresh Anaconda.
Have you ever thrown a Copperhead?
No, I never threw that ball.
All right. Well, you have not thrown the
There's
worst ball ever made.
oh God. You know, there's been a lot of bad bowling balls.
Oh, dude, every company has terrible bowling balls. It is
single
not
company.
possible to make great bowling balls all the time.
Literally impossible.
That's why we might as well just talk about them. So I went out to Vegas, and Smallwood was doing some clinic there. I think it was for like the TAT, and I was there for like World Team Challenge Youth or something. And I threw this Anaconda, and I never struck so much a ball in my life. So when I got back home, I ordered 2 of them, and they were both the worst balls I probably could have thrown. I couldn't believe it. I'm like, dude, this was the greatest ball in Vegas. But that's kind of how it is. I mean, we can drill bowling balls. Like we'll drill bowling balls one week, and they look great, and then we'll drill another one, and then it just doesn't roll the same.
Yeah, we have that
Like,
all the time. It's almost impossible to get an
variability,
identical ball reaction.
It is not possible.
You can get close. You can get very close, but you can seem like you have the same ball, same specs, same layout, same surface, and they roll different.
The Philosopher, I see your message. Don't see the link. I definitely put it in there. It was saved. I'll go ahead and put it in the chat, though. Why not, right? Just do that. Make it nice and easy.
So again, Chad, they're bowling on a long pattern. This pattern is really slick. The ladies are going to have to keep their angles in front of them a little bit more. They can't give away the pocket a whole lot. A little bit of surface, playing straighter angles. Around that 10, 15 area is going to be the play. Getting it any right of that, you can probably say goodbye and wave at it as it flies by the head pin. But they're only bowling 5 games, so there's not going to be a ton of breakdown. There's only 3 of them on a pair. So
It's moving quickly so far.
yeah, they have good pace. It isn't an easy pattern by any means. It's a little challenging. It's a tough pattern. Anyone that's bowled on Mexico City can probably attest to that. But I think there will be. I think a girl will get to 100 over this block. I think someone.
Yeah, we should expect that. Unless they just get really hard. It's hard
And
to tell
then
how they're gonna
I think the girls are gonna absolutely destroy
crush
the
the
short
short
pattern.
pattern.
Yeah. You know, I actually picked these patterns out. I was going through. I bowl here a lot. I know how the patterns play, and I was gonna be brutal on these girls. And Brad thought I was going to. I was gonna put this WTBA pattern called Sydney out that they used to use. It's like 32, 33 feet, pretty flat,
horrible.
dang near impossible. We used to bowl on that for tryouts here. And I remember, I think it was my freshman year, there was only 2 people that went plus out of all the girls and guys, and you're talking 150 bowlers.
What's your best performance on Sydney? Do you have one?
Yeah, I've had some success on it. I know that year in tryouts that we had it out here, it was all the guys that you bowled with, and I was 11 over on the day, and I was the leader by a long
Really?
margin. I think Ashley Bright went like +1 or -1, and she was the only one close to plus as well. I think Sydney, now, I've had a couple good performances on the Sydney pattern. before I kind of knew how to bowl, I've had some bad performances on the city pattern. If you're not very good on short patterns,
especially
that
before
one
urethane was
will-
such a fad.
Oh yeah, if I don't have urethane in my hands, I'm averaging 172 on a good day.
Barnes, they laid. There was one year at the. What's the big tournament for Team USA every year? Worlds.
Yeah, the Worlds, yeah.
They had it in South Point one year, and the lanes were just absolutely brutal. And one of the patterns was Sydney, and no one's plus, and Barnes is like 220 over.
Yeah, he has that ability.
Throwing what's that Columbia 300 ball that came out like 15 years ago that was supposed to be like the next greatest thing, but EFX1.
Yeah, EPX.
EPX.
Yeah.
That's the short pattern killer ball right there.
Yeah, people still try to throw it. I see people trying to throw that.
I know.
never threw it, but it was like this hidden secret for short patterns to throw that ball. Guys, we have Brandy Branca on lane 12. We want to give a shout out to Brandy. For those of you who didn't get to watch last night, Brandy absolutely crushed it. She was the queen of the night. She showed everybody up. Pretty sure she took home the most money, cashed the most on the times, led the field by a good margin. So Brandy, hell of a job. And chat, let us know, did you tune in last night? Are you guys new today? Are you new to the Brad and Kyle channel? Did you watch last night? How are you enjoying this? Let us know. Interact with us. Keep us busy.
Question in the chat. Don't want to start a fight, but why not wear masks? It's not that hard. We are wearing masks, just not when we're talking.
Yeah, so the spectators are required to wear masks. We are the proprietor and the facility here is doing a really good job of being socially responsible. The bowlers aren't required to wear a mask in the concourse, but no one else is allowed in the concourse area. But if you are spectating, if you are wanting to come up to St. Charles Lanes, you are required to wear a mask. Me and Brad are not wearing masks in the booth right now because, frankly, it is really hard to commentate and wear a mask at the same time.
I don't think you'd like that for us.
I think we would have a lot of mumble going on. So we are doing a good job. People are doing their due diligence. And we are providing by all restrictions in the area that we're in right now.
It's an interesting dynamic. How, what do you think the uptick is in the amount of people who wash their hands, like every time they go to the bathroom now?
Oh, it's huge.
Like just
wash their hands, anytime someone has Germ-X, I'm like, can I get a bump? Like, can I get a little bit of that?
I feel like the overall spread of germs is quite a bit lower than it was before this whole pandemic happened. Like,
and maybe, I mean, I'm not saying we definitely didn't need COVID, but maybe it gave a little bit more hindsight to the people taking care of their,
their body, their health, washing their hands.
Yeah, just being more conscious.
Like
man.
Every time I touch a doorknob now, it strikes me. It's like, oh, there's germs there, which before you don't even think about it.
Yeah, I mean,
and what if it was more deadly?
And it's something that's really easy to do. I mean, it's not hard to do, and I think that's one thing that people have. It was a complete culture shock for everyone during this whole quarantine phase, but getting people to be more conscious about their decisions, especially when it comes to health, is something that I think society can always improve on. So we are doing what we can here. We know that, and we're really fortunate to even be able to bowl. A lot of states are still shut down. A lot of states are limited in capacity. We are lucky enough to have some looser restrictions here. We're being as safe as possible, and we're just trying to give you guys bowling. Trying to get us back to normal as we can here. So,
Germ-X there. Dustin Falcon said, Germ-X is like cocaine. Can I get a bump? You totally said get a bump there. Yeah, we can switch some lanes a little more. Sorry about that, guys. We just yell at us. Okay, we'll skip over to Julia Bond. Julia Bond started out with 230, and now she is moved pairs, and it is not going as well. Bunch of 9 spares for Sydney, and finally get a strike there in the 5th. So still throwing that parallax.
So Brad, we have Game 1 standings in our hands right now, guys.
Give it to me, baby.
We are working on getting those updated on the Brad and Kyle Facebook page. We're waiting on the file to get sent to us, but right now I'm going to list off the top 10 for you guys. Julia Bond, right in front of us, was our leader at 234. We have Diana Zavalova, 232. Danielle Henderson, 226. Sydney Brummett, 225. Shannon O'Keefe in 5th at 224. Christina Hartle, 221. Jen Higgins, 213. Erin McCarthy, 211. Tanya Runtmore, 208. And rounding out 10th place is Rena Sabo. Right now we have 12 girls plus out of the field. Looks like we ended up having 41 entries today. And we're seeing a lot of big names starting off hot from the PWBA Tour.
Well, the high game, first game yesterday was 223, and the high game today was 234, so not a ton of difference. How many people are plus? There were 6 after game 1 yesterday.
Yeah, we
Now
have
there's
12 ladies plus, and this pattern is going to
About right.
continue to break down and play easier for these ladies. So they're used to bowling on patterns similar to this.
Shannon Pulhowsey starts with a 153. Jordan Richard. No, is that a... Why does that say from Imperial, Missouri?
The reason that says from Imperial, Missouri is because that there is
Another one.
a guy named Jordan Richard as well. He is not as good as the female Jordan Richard, but I'm assuming from my local knowledge that's the discrepancy there.
There's not a whole lot
Or
of
maybe
people
she moved. I don't know.
better than the girl Jordan Richard.
The franchise. For those of you in the chat, we are working on getting the scores updated on the Brad and Kyle Facebook page, but we do have the scores in front of us. If you would like to know, if you have a fan favorite out there, there's someone that you're interested in, let us know. We'll shout out the scores. We don't want to ramble off all 41 scores. That would be a headache for us and probably for you. But let us know. If you're following someone, we'll give you an update.
Does anybody know who's up on the right lane with the paw prints, the colorful paw prints right now on the left pair right lane? Anyone know her name?
What lane is that, Brad?
20. Lane 20.
You know, as a bowler, sometimes I'm a little hesitant to wear that name shirt. Now as an announcer, I'm like, can we all have name shirts, please?
Yeah. Makes it
Let's
a
see
lot
how
easier.
the dynamic has changed a little bit.
How is Verity and Aaron doing? Well, Verity started off with a 179,
9.
and Aaron McCarthy bowled a 211.
211.
What did Haley shoot? Haley Richard.
Haley Richard, 193.
93.
Not a bad
okay.
start. Solid.
Go ahead and switch back over here. Get a look at Brianna Cote
Lane 13.
with her Columbia jersey on. Ashley Galante shot 205.
Oh, Brianna Cote with the clutch.
Brooklyn for the turkey.
You know, you can never have enough of those.
No. Just great to see the women bowling. Yeah, I know. Hey guys, I'm working on a layout where we put the pin in the track. Have either of you tried this before? No. I don't even know where we put the track of the bowling ball. No, I've never tried it.
That's a negative, Ghost Rider. I'm a pin over the bridge kind of guy and call it a day.
Yeah.
I remember at the World Series this year, I think I had 22 bowling balls and not a single one of them was pinned down.
This is a great opportunity for the women. It will be great to see the 10 of the best women in the PBA League. Yeah, some interesting changes going on with the PBA League. We have we now have 2 additional teams. We opened it up to 50 people this year, right? We had 8 teams before. Now we have 10, and now we also have another 2 for women. So we have a total of 12 teams, and they did a PWBA draft. And they just drafted right down the line, top 10. What are your thoughts? Do you think they should have skipped around and picked some players, or do you like the fact that they just went straight top 10? Whoever deserved it the most got the chance.
Yeah, I kind of believe that that's the right way to do it. The top 10, I think the top 10 players from the PWBA tour needed to be in there. I think you earn it. I like ruling out all kinds of discrepancy and judgment. Because if you earned it, you earned it. Now, saying that, there's a lot of girls that could be there. Absolutely.
Well, I mean, like, Kelly Kulik was like 14th or something.
Right.
You know?
Absolutely, but then you're going to skip over the girl that's in 10th, and I guess there were no guidelines, but that doesn't really it's a lot easier, I think, to justify going off the point system because you just you have something you can justify off of it. It's besides just picking people, and then you can have some playing favorites in there. And so anyway, I like it. Now, I think it's awesome for the women. I'm extremely happy for them. The fact that they can get some exposure, and dude, we need to collaborate with them more often. And honestly, these women teams are no joke. Either one of them in the PBA league has a chance of winning. I mean, they are that good. I think they can compete. They're going to keep it close. They're going to pick their spares. And, I mean, a lot of them, they can all strike. They're the top 10 women on the PWBA tour. So they're going to be it's not like they're there. Do not think these girls are there to just be there and have fun. They are here to win. So I'm excited. I'm happy that they get the opportunity. I think we should do what we can, especially with their PWBA tour being canceled. We need to support each other, get as much exposure as possible. And, yeah, I mean, I'm not looking forward to bowling them.
Do you guys think it is good that all women are on the same team, or is it going to be spread out? I think this year it was just put a couple women's teams. They don't have a PWBA tour. Let's get something going for them. I think that could be changed into them being sprinkled on one team or something along those lines next year. I'm not exactly sure the exact plan, but I do know that the PBA has thought about that option as well. So,
You know, I kind of like the all-women's teams.
I do too.
I think I'm a fan of that. I wouldn't mind either way, but I like the dynamic of, you know, and it's kind of the storyline, right? Like the women's team against the men's team, and can they take them down, and who's going to win, and I like that dynamic. Adds a little drama.
Luke Rosedale goes, the women's team draft was brutal, but when you've got 30 names to fit into 10 spots, it just is what it is. Yeah, you know, I mean, when you pick down the line, it's one thing, and there's a lot of really good bowlers that get skipped, but, you know, the opposite happened on the guys' side. You know, there's 50 players that get to compete, and the 38th bowler didn't get picked, the 40th bowler didn't get picked, and the 45th bowler didn't get picked. And there's top 75 are in the draft, and like the 71st bowler got picked. He was the last pick. And Leto picked Ildemaro Ruiz. He was 71st, you know, and DJ Archer was 38th for the year. And just kind of, if you're Leto Monticelli and you have that last pick, and you have the option to take Ildemaro Ruiz, who you know personally, who you speak the same language as, who as an ambassador for international bowling, you want to provide opportunity for international bowlers. There's a lot of reasons to pick Ildemaro. If I was Leto, I would have picked Ildemaro as well. But does that make it right that the 38th, the 40th, and the 45th player didn't get chosen for a top 50, essentially, event? Who knows?
Yeah, I think it's okay because, you know, that's the reason we open it up to more players. You know, if it was, you know, the coach is trying to build the best team that he thinks, and that's the responsibility of the coach. And you can make the decisions all you want about picks that players made and everything, but the picks were not all down the line across the board.
I'm saying that the guys are different.
So the coach, it's the coach's decision to try to build the best team that he feels he can build, and that's their decision, and then they're going to have to live with that. And, of course, it's a draft. Not everyone was going to be picked, so there's always going to be that storyline, oh, this person should have been picked over this person. But, unfortunately, that's how it goes.
Yeah, I had a tweet a little while ago, and I asked, would you rather see a PBA League draft, or would you rather, like, the last couple of tournaments coming down to the wire, would you rather watch the 40th through 60th players kind of battle it out for those last 10 spots, assuming that the last two tournaments of the year are the World Series and the Masters, so two, like, really big events to that would be the only other option, to where either you have a draft and you let other, you know, top 75, 50 get picked, or you just go straight down the line, top 50 get in, and then you pick the teams that you want amongst those top 50. It's really the only two options. And they've went with the top 7. They went with the make it open, kind of pick who you want style. But you know, if I was DJ Archer, I'd be a little ticked. Like, I've supported the PBA Tour all these years. You know, I've done well enough. I'm 33 spots ahead of Ildemar Ruiz in standings. You know, I'd be ticked. Mikey Tang as well got skipped, and someone else.
Yeah, I mean, the real issue here is that we need to grow the PBA league. If we can grow the PBA league, we can get more players in there, more teams, more money, more events. We need to have more events. We can't just be bowling the PBA league once a year. We need to make that something special because that environment, that atmosphere, team bowling is just so amazing that we need to be doing that more than once a year, in my opinion. So if we can figure out a way to do that, all those guys will be bowling in the league.
Yeah, if we can get the PBA league structured like the Call of Duty league, how cool would that be?
Yeah. One day, man, one day.
I know. It's a work in progress. We'll be 60 by the time we get it going. But
Everyone, little scores in front of us here. As far as on the low side of the building, a lot of low scores again. This pattern is not easy by any means. Looks like the high score around us is going to be 208, max 210. Brianna Cote can strike right here to put herself. Pretty good grind game, ring 10. She's going to pick that for 200 on the dot. Scores are not looking too pretty around us, my man.
I believe Adam Limeriz is how you pronounce the last name. He's a Maine guy. We don't know if we're going to be able to get fans in Maine. Are you familiar? Have you spoke with Charlie at all about that situation? As if we don't get fans in Maine, I believe the idea is to go to Milwaukee or something, but we're just kind of waiting to see what the state of Maine comes up with, if we can even run the event. I do like the idea of a Hall of Fame team. I mean, I think I'd rather see 5 Hall of Famers bowl together rather than them sprinkled. Because if Pete Weber and Walter Ray are going to be bowling, you know, Parker probably deserves a chance as well. Norm and somebody, but Norm's got his own team.
Yeah, it's kind of like, what direction do you want to go with the PBA league? Do you want to make...
There's a lot of options, man.
There's a lot of options. Like, do you want to make it a fun event, or do you want to try to put the absolute best teams together and go against each other? You know, it's not our decision, but yeah, a Hall of Fame team would be it'd be fun to watch. It'd be fun to see those guys get together.
PBA doesn't hold an event anywhere in New Hampshire, right? No, they do not. I would love to. Would love to go to New Hampshire. I went hiking in the White Mountains one time, and I want to go back. We have the score of the next camera. Let's hop on the next camera. We are completing game 2 right now. Going into game 3. We'll switch cameras right here. Get a look at Carrie Smith real quick, and then...
Man, these girls are grinding for 2 days. Last night was not an easy pattern. It was 39 feet, almost flat, very brutal. This Mexico City pattern is playing very difficult this morning. Scores are not too high. We did not see a big increase in scores from the first game. Actually, the scoring pace might have went down a little bit. And then the short pattern this afternoon isn't going to be no breeze either. So,
and they're on low sleep.
They're grinding, man. No sleep, grinding. This is what it's all about.
I had a scenario or I guess it was last year at the U.S. Open where we got done super late, like 1 a.m., and we had to be back at practice at 8. And just the lack of sleep, it makes it really hard to just be sharp. You know, especially when the pattern is really hard. Like if you're shooting a lot of spares and it's taking forever, it just kind of exponentiates the grind. And when that happens, sleep is a must. And when you don't get it, it becomes very difficult. So these girls they're in for a long day. And, you know, I'm sure the top professionals have a lot of experience in kind of handling scenarios like this. I'm sure they've bowled a lot more events where they have had to deal with no sleep and tough patterns. And honestly, like, it seems pretty obvious that the girls would like more sleep, but they haven't necessarily complained about it. and they have been so far okay. It kind of just seems like these women just want to bowl. Like they are just in their wheelhouse right now. So I know it's an extremely early morning, but you know, I think they are just kind of grateful that they're back in competition mode. They're doing what they love. We're gonna get done about 5:39, and everyone's gonna be able to get some sleep. Some people are probably gonna go home tomorrow, and some people are probably gonna bowl the doubles tournament tomorrow, like Kyle and I. Kyle hasn't bowled in a month. He's been telling me for 3 weeks, I suck. I suck. My back hurts. You got to hold me up. And then next thing I know, he's over here booking action.
Yeah, it's just a habit, you know. That's really what it is.
How we doing, guys? Good?
Apparently, I think I have a habit of calling women girls, and
Yeah, they're women or ladies.
are they? I mean, you can call me a boy my entire life, and I'm never going to get
It's
offended.
a little disrespectful.
Yeah, you've been called out twice on the girl thing.
Is it bad to call them girls?
So here's I'm gonna kind of sort of come in here for a second here, and
Are they not girls?
I'm just gonna explain things. Brad and Kyle, both of them, but we're talking about Brad right now. You know, they loved college bowling. And in college bowling, when you describe the teams, you got the guys' team and you've got the girls' team. And I believe because they're still young and Brad still is caught in college bowling land, he just refers to female bowlers as girls because it's the guys' team and the girls' team. I truly believe that's why it's in Brad's vocabulary that way.
I mean, if I went out on a date with a woman and I went back to my family, I would say, hey, guys, I went on a date with a girl last night.
Yeah, and I have a girlfriend.
And I have a girlfriend.
Right.
So I just don't.
So here's what I would say, right? This is Brad Miller's vocab. And if he wants to call the female,
There's no disrespect.
you're not being disrespectful. It's just your term. You just say it's a girl and a guy.
It's a girl and a guy.
Like, you know, because you say all the time, yeah, and tomorrow the guys will be bowling.
Guys, we bowl.
The next day the girls
There
will
we
be
go.
bowling.
Yeah. Makes sense.
So,
Sorry, if I offend anyone for not saying women, they are women, they are ladies, they are wonderful. They hold the key to the world. We understand that.
yeah. I'm trying to think what I would even say. I would say here we are at the Brad and Kyle Women's event.
It is the Women's Open.
And it says the Women's Open, right? So this is a women's event.
I like ladies. I think my terminology is
Ladies
I
is
try
more
to
proper.
emphasize ladies.
Now some people would say that you were dating. You're like making them sound older.
Exactly. You
As
know, you can't,
ladies.
Mike. You can't please everybody. If anyone knows anything about the Brad and Kyle YouTube channel, is that we are not always the most politically correct. Okay, we say what comes to mind, and
So you know what?
we live or die.
So now I'm all confused, and now I don't want to say something wrong. So you know what I want to call them all?
Oh God, here we go.
Athletes.
There we go.
Athletes. There you go.
Okay.
These athletes out here competing today are just outstanding,
Maybe that's how we should do it.
right?
That's definitely the most PC
That's
term we could
definitely
do.
the PC term.
Hey, everyone, we have a little bit of a star-studded cast here on 11 through 14. We have
Okay.
Verity Crawley on 11, Lauren Pate, soon to be Lauren Russo on 13. Mariota Rodriguez is also on 13 and 14. Sylvia Gant, 13 and 14. I'm expecting these girls to get comfortable here in these last 3 games of this block and start making a little run.
Oh, yeah.
By the way, Brad,
Yeah.
I want to address this in the chat.
Uh-oh.
You know, I did a daily show for eight weeks in a row, 40 episodes, and there were a few people that were like on every show, listening in and commenting and participating in the shows, and one of them is Kristen Anderson,
Yep.
and she's in the chat right now.
She loves me.
And I've seen this multiple times now that she would date you.
I think so.
I feel like we need to have some sort of virtual
I've never met her.
date. I mean, I could get her number and I could plug her into the board, and you guys could have like
How
a meeting on the air.
Let's just do it organically. Can I at least meet her in person?
Perfect.
Yeah, we got the file, and Brad's posted it right now to Facebook. So. Thank you.
I'm trying to upload the standings to the Brad and Kyle Facebook page.
So Brad, did you do anything to them, or are you trying to upload a PDF?
I'm trying to upload a PDF, and I'm just
So here's what I would do. I would open the PDF on your machine, and I would do a screenshot of it and upload the image. Do you know how to do a screenshot?
no, not on a Mac.
I can show you.
For all of you in the chat, thank you. We're almost at 700 viewers. Thanks for joining us. We know it's a little early start. We really appreciate all the love and support in the chat. Share it with your friends, share it with your family. These ladies deserve as much exposure as we can give them. So we're really happy to provide the platform, but a lot of it is sharing it on your guys' end. Let's get these ladies to get some people watching them because they deserve it. They're literally have the best women bowlers in the world here competing. We're very fortunate to be able to put on an event like this during the time that we are in the world, and for these ladies to come out and support an event, we are really thankful, and we're really glad that we can kind of bring you this broadcast today. So share with your friends, share with your family, post to Facebook, tell your long-lost cousin. Let's get people watching.
I also just learned that Maria Jose Rodriguez works for Cliff Bar, and we've got a bunch of Cliff Bars here in the building.
We do.
And
I was kind of wondering that. What was the we just got Cliff Bars put right in front of us.
Yeah, Nathan Bohr is wearing a Cliff Bar mask, and Maria's really hooked in with Cliff Bar. So we've got coffee macchiato Cliff Bars up here in the booth. So thank you to Cliff Bar.
Not only coffee, would you say caramel macchiato?
Yeah.
We also have vanilla almond latte. So we kind of have this like morning
I'm
coffee.
one of those as well.
I think I'm gonna try this, Mike.
And you know, we could real quick, just quickly here, we could bring it into the booth. Thank you. I mean, we're talking, we got a whole box of these things up here.
Thank you, Cliff.
Thank you, Cliff. Back out to.
This was much needed this morning as well.
There you go. Anyway, so that's one little fun fact. And then also in the chat, I got to give a shout out to C Drive 300. As he typed in how to do the screenshot. I did know that already. I showed Brad. It's Shift Command 4 to do that screenshot. Did you get the standings out, Brad?
They're up. Brad and Kyle Facebook.
And they will come out quicker now moving forward.
Yes.
We've got a system in place, so you will be able to see the standings. Brad and Kyle Facebook page. If you haven't liked it already, you really should. They were a little late in the ball game getting on Facebook as a page for themselves.
Yes, we
but
were.
they're there now, so go follow them.
Brad's a little late to the Apple MacBook game. He's not an Apple guy, so
No, but I love that
he
he
doesn't
is
know.
now.
He doesn't know all
And
quite the little shortcuts
It's
yet.
changed my life a little bit. It has made video and just anything that takes any kind of CPU much easier.
Yep. Shift Command 4 will get you that screenshot. And then if you want to bring up the emoji screen, which is always kind of fun, you do Control Command Spacebar, and it brings up all your emojis.
Really? There's a lot of really cool stuff that.
2K, big winner, 1,700 for a couple other people, 1,400.
All right, so we have an update. Danny Spink just dropped off all the knowledge that we need from last night. What are we looking at here? All right, let's go down the line. Lauren Pate got back $750.
She won the first game.
She won the first game. Brianna Cote got back $500, so she broke even. Casey got back $350, so she only lost $150
Very nice.
last night. Very nice. Devera Buckley got back $200. Verity Crawley got back $1,600. Nice little profit for Verity. Ashley Galante got back $850. Local bowler Carrie Alexander got back $200, which is nice. Shannon Grimm got back $850, so she made a $350 profit. Shout out to Shannon Grimm. Brandy Branca was your big winner last night. She had a $500 hit, a $350 hit, a $200 hit, a $200 hit, and a $750 hit for $2,000.
Bingo.
Bingo! Julia Bond had an $1,100, so a nice little profit for her. Shannon O'Keefe got to $1,700. She had 2 wins. Maria Rodriguez got to 1,400. Carrie Smith got to 1,100. Jordan Richard got 200 back. Diana Zalyalova got 750 back. Christina Hart broke even at $500. And Haley Richard got back $350. So those are your players who cashed for any amount of money last night. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. 17 players got back some sort of money last night.
That's good. I mean, they were paying the top 4 every game.
So over half the field didn't blank.
Right.
Cool. That's awesome.
That is awesome.
And especially since the first couple of years we only had 20 guys and we only paid 2 spots per game.
It was steep.
It was steep. And in that particular instance, if one guy goes like insane, he could almost literally take all the money in that aspect.
Like
but
Brad Miller.
But I went insane this past year, but they paid out 4. So it allowed for other people to at least try and get their investment back, which I think is big for the longevity of the tournament. So that's really cool. Hey, we have Shannon Plahowski up here on the left pair.
Yes, we have a star-studded cast here, I'm telling you, on 11 through 14. Then for those of you watching, we have Diana on lane 10, far left of your screen. She's about to shoot a 7-pin, and she converts it nicely.
And her and Verity are on the same pair again. Her, Erin McCarthy, and Diana Zalyalova are on the same pair.
That's not a bad pair.
What kind of nonsense is that? Oh, no, Verity's with Plowski. Never mind. Okay, so Verity not off to a great start last night, but obviously probably pretty happy with her performance last
Verity
night.
got a good start last night.
Or, I mean, this morning, sorry. Because she started off with 170.
170, they're a little tight, but it's a long pattern. We're going to have to migrate a little left. Verity obviously is very comfortable playing left. And she had a really good start to this game. Turkey, 9 spare, 6 spare. We also have Tanya. Tanya's on 9 and 10. So that's a pretty solid pair.
She's off to a good start. She's got to do something today. She had a bad performance yesterday. Tanya had like a oddly good look that just never scored last night.
Yeah, it's strange.
She should have done much better. That's just one of those weird deals.
11 and 12, bowling in this house pretty much all my life. 11 and 12 is one of the best pairs in the house, so I'm always expecting to see some really good scores on there. The two athletes on 11 and 12 right now have really good starts to the game, pacing into the well into the 200s. You got to try one of these Cliff Bars, man. This is like coffee.
I got the vanilla almond latte. It ain't bad.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying right now.
Shout out to Cliff Bar if you're watching.
Yeah, Cliff. Share this.
Yeah,
on
Cliff. It's a 1F or 2.
Someone tweet Cliff and tell him that the Brad and Kyle YouTube channel is
love
promoting their products, and they want more people to see them.
We could use
Share
everything
stuff.
we can get.
Chat, we need the love. We need it. Hey, we're up to 700 people watching. 727.
Morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Verity with a double 6th and 7th. Has 260 off the sheet. Looking like she's going to bounce back quite nicely after that less than stellar first game.
Yeah. Should be all right.
We have Shane O'Keefe on lane 15. She's having a rough start to this game. 8 spare strike and then 3 consecutive opens for 64 in the 5th. You have arguably the best woman bowler in the world. Not going to have a great game this game. And so if that tells you that the lane patterns are not easy, this kind of pattern is what I would say is scoreable.
Scoreable.
But it's difficult. If you're not doing the right thing, if you're not lined up, if you don't have the right balls, you know, if you're just not bowling well, you are going to shoot some low scores. But if you're kind of piecing everything together, staying ahead of the transition, getting the right balls in your hand, getting your feet and eyes lined up, you can put up some scores here. I think we'll have a girl or two be 100 over after these 5 games.
A lady or two.
A lady or two, yeah. Go ahead, chat. It's going to be all day.
It is going to be a long day.
And just letting you know, the more we
Just-
talk,
just-
the more tired I
come on.
get. So
Go easy on us, guys. We have love for everyone.
I'm not conditioned to sit in this booth all day. I'm not going to lie, last night took it out of me. Normally, I let Brad do all the commentating, and I stay away, and I'm just a fan, you know. I think I'm a good spectator.
Hey, game 2 standings. Yeah. Usually the longer this goes, the slipperier we get. So, is that a word? Slipperier?
Are we there already?
Definitely more slippery. Which last night, the last couple games when Tommy got in the booth, Nick was in there, I'm like, all right, this could get ugly.
Yeah. All right, Chad, we are working on getting those scores updated on our Brad and Kyle Facebook page, but right now I'm going to run down the top 10 for you real quick. First place, Julia Bond at 48 over, Diana at 30 over, Sydney Brummett 28 over, Shannon O'Keefe 27 over, Haley Richard 21 over, Brandy Branca 14 over, Jen Higgins +7, Ashley Galante +2, Christina Hartle +2 it looks like, and then rounding out 10th place is Tanya at -1.
If you guys are just tuning in, we are bowling the Brad and Kyle Women's Open. It is the second tournament of 3 this weekend in St. Louis bowling, a big weekend in St. Louis. Last night was a Midnight Bowler Society where they bowled 8 games, and we paid out every single game. It's kind of a local favorite around here that Danny Spink started. It was literally just an idea in his head. He wanted to contribute to the bowling world since he wasn't bowling much anymore. He had a family and he had other obligations, so he wanted to still be involved. So he put together an MBS, a Midnight Bowler Society tournament. We got 20, we got 22 the next year, and then we filled 32 this year, and then he had the idea of running a women's one, and then we filled 32 last night. Each one of those 32 put up $500, which is pretty high stakes for 8 games of bowling. That's the price of a major, where you could potentially get 60 games of bowling. And they did it for 8 games. And then this morning, a quick turnaround, not much sleep. We got 5 games this morning on Mexico City. We have an hour break for redressing the lanes. The girls are going to get some lunch, potentially take a nap. We're going to come back. We're going to bowl on a short pattern for 5 games. And then the top 5 after those 10 games are going to go into a step ladder, which will be broadcasted right here on the Brad and Kyle channel. The winner takes home a nice trophy and $4,000 and hopefully a nice night in St. Louis.
Yeah, Brad, it looks like if we take a little look at the scoring pace here, that after game 1 we had 12 ladies that were plus, and then after game 2 there's only 9. So I think it's notable to say Verity here on lane 11 throwing a shot. She has 260 now going into the 10th for a max score of 265, and she really needs it because she is currently in 33rd place at -82 after 2 games. Shannon Polhowski can strike out here for a 235 game. She's going to need a big one as well because she started out a little rough, -80. The scores aren't easy. 9 ladies plus. Plus 48 is leading after 2 games.
Verity's got a big game going.
She needs it. She's at -82 right now.
Wow. That's got to be sleep.
Yeah, she's waking up now.
She gave it her all last night.
She's saying, I didn't come all the way from Florida to...
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, when they came up with the idea to try and get some women in the St. Louis area this weekend, and we started talking to people and getting some feelers and what the weekend might look like, you know, we got people coming from Florida. Ashley Galante, Verity Crawley, Aaron McCarthy came, Diana Zayalova, Shannon Polhowski, like all these, Shannon keeps local, I guess, but a lot of these girls traveled to come to this tournament. I see Jen Higgins down there. They live in Ohio.
Yep.
That's a 6-7 hour drive. Like people really came a long way. They went to the airport, hopped on a plane, and came here. So I'm just hoping I'm hoping they like it. We are waiting for the Game 2 standings to be emailed to us, and then they will go directly on our Facebook page. Should give us about 1 minute. Okay, so on lane 9 right now, Tanya has a 2:55 left. You're going to see that ball go down the lane on the very left side of the screen, right here. You know, we shouldn't.
A, you black clouded her. B, she had 2:45 left.
You know, whatever.
Big shot for Verity here. Get back in it. It's going to put her probably close to the. Looks a little left. Doesn't get any love on the trip 4 pin.
With a spare, 240 for Verity. That would, you know, since she dug herself such a hole early, like a 260 sounds phenomenal. And she's probably a little frustrated that she's not going to get to that number, but 240 at that ride is still very, very good.
Again, they are bowling on 2 sport conditions. Mexico City for the first block is the long pattern. The second block is going to be a short pattern. That is going to be Beijing. Is Verity throwing a trend? Is that a trend?
Yes.
We got a confirmation. We got a hey, Brett and Kyle, love the vids. We do too. We're sorry that we haven't been able to vlog as much with the PWBA tour. Obviously, just like anything else, kind of on hiatus. So hopefully we can get back to close to normal. We miss vlogging. We miss hanging out with our friends. It was a nice little break after doing it. You know, pretty much putting out a video every day in the beginning part of the year. But we're ready to be back. We need it.
How crazy are those days when we're putting videos out every day?
They fly by, and they're so fun. And especially now, I mean, you guys know we've integrated a lot of our buddies into the vlog. We call it the house. We love them. We love traveling with them. It makes the experience so much better. And now that we have them along with it, hey man, it makes everything so much better that we can share with them. So they do a great job of helping us out and kind of, you know, all in it together type of thing. So we just can't wait to get bowling back with our friends, you know. And especially we're very fortunate that our friend group are all just studs. Like everyone is solid. So there's at least someone making a run. A lot of times that's been Chris Prather.
Watch him win 100 grand this
Watch
year.
him win 100 grand. Watch him win 100 grand twice. But huge shout out. You know the guy that was most improved this year is in the house was Chris Vi.
Yeah.
Chris Vi down the stretch was an absolute beast on the PBA Tour, making the show at the U.S. Open, absolutely killing the World Series, making the World Championship show, and then he made every single cut, I believe, in all the animal patterns. So Chris was just on an absolute tear, rampage. After going through some struggles, he was struggling a little bit at the beginning of the year. I'm pretty sure he made the show in Sweden, right?
Yes.
Towards the end of 2019, but you know he was just going through some things, and that's what happens we all have our highs and lows, and Chris shot putted out of his low by saying, I'm just going to make a couple major shows, I'm going to make all these cuts. So huge shout out to Chris, man. He really turned it on strong.
And this year at the World Series, he needed the first one in the 10th to shut out Bill.
Yeah,
they were bowling each other.
Aced it, man.
And he aced it.
But not even that. Nick Pate made a show this year, first televised show. It's
he looked really
second
good.
Show. Darren Tang getting the old Tommy Jones tray bomb shot at him. You made a show. You made your first single show.
I made my first single show, and I bowled good.
Yep.
I went clean, I think.
You'd have a title if you bowled that good on that pair.
Yep.
Just a different time.
Same pair too.
Same pair. I was just a test dummy. I get it. You had to get your legs under you. Who else made a show? Anyone else? Packy? Packy made a show.
Packy
Same
made that
show
same
as you.
show.
Same show as you. So it's so much fun seeing all the guys in the house have success. They all work really hard. You know, we try to work together, and it's just really fun to share that experience with them. So we got a good setup. Kind of wish Nick would keep his shirt on a little bit more.
No, that's good.
Yeah, it's good for content.
Hassan
We
goes,
know you
and
love
2
it.
animal patterns. Chris needs to beat Brad.
Man.
Hasn't Chris had enough success? I mean, he's like 18-time Team USA player. He's made major
18
shows. I know, he made Team USA when he was like 11. I'm like, give me some. I want something.
Chat, don't fact check that.
It is crazy, though, that we are bullying each other on 2 different animal pattern match plays.
That is
like,
crazy.
I only made 2, and I got bowl Chris on both of them. That really kind of sucks.
You got really lucky that you didn't bowl him that week. Because
Yeah.
he was on fire.
Yeah.
Tanya's going to finish out with a good game at 223. Verity finished with 243. Maria can pick this spare and strike out for 223. Brandy Branca, second shot in the down on 17 and 18, second shot in the 10 to get to 230 and run away 9-pin. Definitely clouded that one.
Well, that's the normal.
I don't believe in the cloud. Never have, never will.
I don't either. We'll get a shot of Brianna Clemmer here. Looks like she has 1 strike this game. I haven't really seen her throw a whole lot of shots, but just given the pattern and the way she likes to play lanes, I'm assuming she is throwing it too hard. It's kind of easy to do, right?
Well, just saying, with Brianna likes to throw it hard, so if she's ever bowling bad, it's she's usually never thrown it too soft.
That's a lot of people's issue. Would you say on your students, do most of them kind of have an issue with overthrowing it? Or have you had to like pick up ball speed and power? Because for the most part, my experience, people just kind of overdo it. You know, they're not super comfortable and rhythmic.
It's
You know,
I think it's a healthy combination of both. I definitely have some students that we're doing coaching that we need to work on their technique to build more ball speed, more power, and do all that. But I definitely have the for instance, I coach two-handers. Danielle Henderson, who is bowling in this tournament right now, and her brother Donnie. And Donnie likes to throw it a little slower. He likes to hook it. And Danielle likes to throw it hard. So when we're working with them, I have a lesson with them at the same time. I'm working on almost opposite things. Chat, we got about 700. Sorry, we are updating the scores on our Brad and Kyle Facebook page after 2 games. Chat, we're at 760 viewers. We'll be here all day. Thank you for the support. Thank you for watching these girls bowl. We got some questions in the chat. I'll go through a couple of these comments. Two-handers rule. What is the nearest airport to this bowling alley? That would be Lambert Airport in St. Louis, Missouri.
Game
It's about
2
15 minutes away.
update is on our Brad and Kyle channel, if you guys are
Okay,
interested.
solid. So we're now updating game 2 standings on the Brad and Kyle Facebook page. If you haven't already, go check it out on Facebook. Give us a like. Check out the standings.
Actually, I think I just
Scores are
posted
low.
the wrong one.
You want to plug your giveaway here?
Yep, and if you haven't already, Bowler Depot is the title sponsor of this event, the inaugural Brad and Kyle Women's Open, sponsored by Bowler Depot. They are based out of Colorado, Denver. They're awesome. They're me and Brad's personal sponsors. They help us out a lot. Right here, they're doing an awesome giveaway, along with giving a lot of money for this event to make it happen. They're really helping us out, giving the women something to bowl, and they're doing an Arsenal giveaway. So click the link, sign up. It's absolutely free. You get to pick between me and Brad's Arsenal. You're getting a 3-ball Arsenal, We're announcing the winner September 1st. Brad is giving away a High Road X Idle Pearl Phase 2.
Yep.
And then I'm giving away a Prism Warp and 2 mystery balls that will be announced soon. They are brand new bowling balls coming out from the Brunswick brands, Brunswick/EBI brands, I guess. And we'll be announcing those soon. They're going to be 2 completely new balls, so I thought that'd be something special for you guys. So the winner is going to get to choose between our 2 arsenals. It's completely free. Click the link, sign up. It's going to be awesome. No reason you shouldn't do it, chat. Give yourself a chance to win. So we have Lauren Pate finishing up here on lane 13. She's going to be in the 170s. Again, this pattern is difficult. If you get lined up correctly, you can shoot some scores, but pair to pair, lane to lane, pattern's hard. It's not easy out there.
What pattern are they blowing on for the step ladder? We are doing dual patterns. So Mexico City will be on the left and Shore will be on the right. It's usually how we do it on the PBA.
I believe so.
Long on the left. We could always make it screwy and put the long on the right, but I don't think it's ever going to develop into anything that's crazy. Yeah, and I fixed the game 1. It's game 2 now. The one I clicked on, it was not the correct one.
Were you able to get the screenshot and everything?
Yep, we're good. Game 2 is uploaded. As we complete game 3 now, are they already on game 4 over on 9 and 10?
Yep.
Looks like they are. We got game 4 rolling.
Yeah, we're cruising through this first block.
It's kind of nice.
It's very nice.
Yeah, last night I guess I was thinking it was going to take 4 hours to bowl 8 games, but not at that pace.
Yeah, not when
Everyone's
they're that
shooting.
brutal.
Bring it back into the booth here as we roll into game number 4.
Well, gentlemen, how we doing? Did you sleep good last night?
You know, for the
Prize fund.
few hours that I got last night, I slept like an absolute baby.
Okay, so we got an update on the prize fund. It's first place, $4,000. Second place, $2,000. Third place, $1,200. Fourth place, $800. Fifth place, $600. So if you make the step ladder, you get $600 guaranteed for fifth place. Sixth place is $500. Seventh place is $450. Eighth place is $425. Ninth place is $400. 10th is $375, $350, $325, and $300. So they're paying 13 spots with the last cash being $300.
Got Jen Higgins. First look at Jen Higgins here today coming into the stream on 13 and 14.
Where was she at last night? That kind of seems like one of her, one of her patterns. You know, the lower scoring grind. I think she likes that. Maybe having a little advantage because she probably got some sleep last night. How's she doing after 2 games? I feel like you got to always root for Higgins just because her and Dan are just so nice.
Did you guys just see that shot on 11?
I did. A little too much rosin.
She's wearing a Stanley Cup Champions jersey. I got to really hand it to her on that one.
Yeah, she would definitely be a fan favorite around here.
Here is Jen Higgins. Right between the second and the third arrow. And, oh wow, this pair hooked, she says.
It's always an unfortunate leave when you go Brooklyn and you leave the 5-10.
Now, a lot of people may not know this, but Haley Richard here on 14 is Jordan Richard's twin sister.
Got a comment in the chat. Brian Moser said, Mike, missed your podcast. Your interview with Ryan Simonelli was outstanding. You let your guests answer the questions. Was the Simonelli one particularly interesting to you? Did it stand out?
Yeah, so I work with all these different companies, and one of the companies that I work with very closely is Bowler X, which we have there's a lot of great pro shops online out there, including Bowler Depot, who we have here today sponsoring the stream. Go over to Bowler Depot this weekend, everybody. But I also work with Bowler X, and Lee had asked me if I would interview one of his players who's on the staff, which is Ryan Simonelli, the day after he announced that he was, semi-retiring from the tour. And Ryan got really emotional. I was able to get to a place with him where he was really able to open up, and he discussed he hadn't thought about his relationship with his dad and what his dad would think about him retiring because all the tournaments they bowled over the years and stuff, and he got pretty choked up and pretty emotional over it. But yeah, I had a good time talking things over with Ryan. One of the things I like to do is I kind of like to go for it in my interviews with people. And if I feel like things are going well, I'll ask some of those difficult questions, and a lot of times I'll get a good answer. So thanks for watching that one.
Yeah, I thought you and Matt did a great job with your daily show. Do you miss it? Man, I know it was a grind every day, prepping the interviewers, trying to schedule people, producing, being the talent. But, I mean, after everything was said and done, I felt like it was – do you feel like it was worth it, and then do you miss it all?
Yeah, it was definitely worth it. Do I miss it? Of course I miss it, right? Like this stream right here with 760 people watching, and last night with 1,300, 1,400 people watching. If I could fire up a show and I got 1,000 people watching, I'd still be doing it.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Because
that's a good audience.
But what's crazy is on Anchor, I can go to Anchor and I can look at who's downloading it on Spotify and on iTunes and stuff like that, and they're it's picking up steam even with all those 40 episodes sitting out there.
Really?
Yeah. So there is a need and a demand for it. The thing is, I do a lot of work for free.
Yeah.
And you kind of got to focus on the revenue model at some point, especially as a 40-year-old male in the United States of America during a pandemic. You got to figure out how to put together a path for your future to be able to generate some revenue.
But I do think interviews like that, particularly like interesting ones, like when people have big things going on in their life. Ryan Simonelli retiring is a huge one, and getting to hear from him is kind of everything.
I had a couple of them that worked out really well. I also was able to interview Tom and Coley right when they announced all the tournaments that they were going to do during the pandemic, how they were going to get bowling back on television. That was a good interview. And I really enjoyed the interview with Pete Weber that I did.
Me too.
It was the first real interview that he did to talk about, his mom's passing, Juanita.
And I like how somewhere in there you mentioned about I think you were introducing him, and you were like, and the greatest bowler in the world or something, or of all time. And Pete Weber goes, "Oh, come on, Mike, you're being too generous." And then he goes, "But I agree with you." He goes, "Okay, Mike, I'll agree."
And we talked about wiffle ball. I played wiffle ball at his house, and then he told me something that I didn't know about Dick. Dick was a huge wiffle ball player, and Dick tried out for the St. Louis Cardinals. It's that kind of stuff that makes it special for me. I just wish that the people that liked bowling was a larger group of people. We are a niche group, folks. All of you that are watching this stream today, you are niche. We are an endangered species.
I know, we got to go out looking.
We need bowlers to mate and create more bowlers. Thank you, Reynolds. Got it. Thank you. Yep, that's what we need. That's really what we need.
And Simonelli retiring, stuff like that, just it doesn't sit well with me, Mike. It's hard for me.
Yeah, the thing about Simonelli, though, is he's retiring, yes, but he's still going to bowl probably all the majors. The company that he works for, they have a professional soccer athlete or a softball athlete, I don't remember, that they allow to take time off and they support their career. So Simonelli's going to be able to go out there and bowl with a pretty free swing because he's got an income coming in. That was the biggest thing for Simonelli is the constant, being a left-hander on tour. What's the shot going to be like this week? And it all got in his head. And he'd go 4 or 5 weeks on a stretch, and not only would he not cash, but he'd look at the leaderboard, and the only lefties that were cashing are Jesper and Jacob Buttriff. And those two guys, he considers have a trick roll, and he can't do what they do in his mind.
But that's not true.
In his mind. So that mental grind of, I can't do what those two guys do with urethane on a consistent basis. And then I asked him, I said, you're the guy that brought urethane back early on. When you first busted on the tour, World Series of Bowling at Thunder Bowl, you were the guy throwing urethane. They're like, look at this guy throwing urethane. So we had this whole discussion about it. But here's the thing. Ryan was just putting a lot of pressure on himself. He spit out a couple babies now, he and his wife. He's got more responsibility under the household. He's got to be able to make his house payment. And it was rough. He admitted it was rough.
I was gonna say I can't buy that him not having the tricks or whatever is the reason he retired. It's the state of the PBA. He needs a guaranteed steady income, and the ball companies weren't paying him a monthly anymore. Well, he switched.
He switched a couple times.
He signed that big contract with Motive.
Yeah.
And he went with that for a couple years, and then
couldn't bowl well.
Didn't
match up with the equipment in his mind again.
And it wasn't necessarily a great transition from the Brunswick family to the Motive family. So then when he decided to go away from Motive, he was in a no man's land. It was very hard for him.
Yeah, and that's what happens sometimes. And so that just got to be really rough. And
I know, but he's one of those guys that there's times when he bowls and you look around and you're like, he is clearly better than everyone in this building by a long shot.
Look,
and there's only a handful of guys that have that ability.
I think Ryan Simonelli with a full-time job that's going to allow him to take time off to go bowl tournaments and encourage him to do so, just not every week, but he can pick his spots. I think Ryan Simonelli is going to be in a better spot, and he's going to be able to go out and bowl better.
For him, yeah, but for the health of the PBA, I want the PBA Tour players who have that ability to be focusing on their craft and become the best bowler they can be
out there every
times.
week. Yeah, I don't disagree with you.
For the health of the industry and the association, that is what needs to happen.
Look, and Ryan will be the first person to tell you that he is not the most level-headed, grounded thinkers there are out there. He has emotion. Sometimes that emotion hurts his mental game on tour. And it's just not a way to lead your life. Waking up every day, squeezing, thinking about everything.
You're exactly right. Bowling can create such a frustration in your life because it's slim chickens. You're battling for pennies, especially when they only pay 1 in 4. 75% of the field goes home with no money each week. At the end of a year, only 25% of your people make money. It's very hard, and when you decide to meet a woman, have a family, do that whole route, it just becomes, it's too much pressure. It's not healthy for you as an individual. It's not healthy for the PBA, for their players to be in that kind of sort of mental state. So it makes sense. It just sucks.
But Simonelli is a great human being, as a really nice guy.
I love the guy. Even after he got suspended. I don't think he should have got suspended. He's a great dude.
I see everybody in the chat here. Really appreciate all the comments here I see coming in. Got a question. Can we get another pair? Can we check in on the other pair?
Yeah, sure. Stay on us. We'll get to you. Okay, so we're going to go to 19 through 24.
We do have a standings update after 3.
Yes, we do. Let's get to it.
If you want to take a look at that.
Okay. 3 games. Julia Bond, first place, plus 49. Brandy Branca, second place. What a weekend shaping.
She's doing so good.
I mean, she's going to pay for her wedding.
You know, here's something else about Brandy. She is absolutely, she's a sweetheart. She's a super nice person. She's dedicated to the sport. She's involved in college athletics now in bowling. And, you know, for the longest time, she was very conscious of her smile as well, her teeth. And she got her teeth fixed recently, and she's feeling really confident in herself. She's going to get married. She's going to have a beautiful smile at her wedding, and she's bowling awesome.
Yeah.
That is just a tremendous,
I
mean, I'm so happy for her.
I know. And, she was one of those girls that, I don't know if she was like a top, recruit going into the PWBA tour after college or whatever. I'm not sure how great Brandy was in college, but she's one of those girls that when she got to the highest level, it was one of those, I'm going to try it out, see how I do. And then I think the past couple years has shown her that she definitely has what it takes to compete against the best in the world, for sure.
I don't want to put her in this class because this guy's exploded, but I kind of look at her like a Chris Prather, right? When Prather came out on tour, everybody knew that he had some game, but didn't have this big, large personality, really kind of keeps to himself. But when you start winning and you start showing up consistently on television, now Prather's getting a following.
Yeah.
Right? But really there was nothing flashy about the guy. He was very just all about his business. But now people are starting to really like him because of his bowling ability. I see kind of Brandy in the same kind of demeanor. Like you don't really notice Brandy Branca.
I know.
When you look over the list, she gets glanced over,
Even
like
last
Prather
night.
did.
Even last night, it was hard. She's just not a flashy player. Like Shannon O'Keefe walks around with like this exuberating confidence.
She's a
like,
superstar.
She's a superstar.
Yeah.
And Brandy just likes to float. You know?
She does.
She's the silent assassin.
She is. If there were women's world team challenges, Brandy Branca would be on a lot of winning teams.
Yes.
So, all right, standings.
All
where
right,
are we
so
at?
Julia Bond, Brandy Branca, Jen Higgins, third place.
Oh, look at her just coming in town.
Tanya, fourth place.
Okay.
Sydney Brummett, fifth place. Ashley Galante, sixth. And there's 5 players plus, by the way. Sydney is the last player plus at 19 over. Ashley Galante is -2. Christina Hart, -6. Christine Gill, -13 at 8th. Shannon O'Keefe in 9th at -14. And Diana Zayulova in 10th at -15. So,
Sid Brummett's another one like Brandy.
really flies under the radar. Yes.
Dan Higgins is up here, hanging out in the booth. Hey, Luke Rosedale, how you doing, buddy? He's got a nice YouTube channel, too, if you guys want to go check that one out. Mike Jazz now in the chat. Who's better mentally on the lanes, Brad or Kyle?
Kyle, definitely. We're working on that, though, Mike. I'm going to come to you. I'm going to Utah.
Why doesn't the PBA partner with the beer industry for sponsors or spirit companies? Easier said than done, Brian.
Yeah, getting a sponsor is a hard gig.
Any updates on standings through Game 3? We updated that. It'll be up on the Brad and Kyle Facebook shortly.
Waiting on an email, and we will have that up.
Let's see.
Got an update from Dan Higgins, Jen Higgins' husband. She bowled on 7 and 8, and if you're familiar with this bowling center, you know that 7 and 8 is one of the worst pairs, and lane 8 in particular is one of the tighter, worst lanes. And Jen Higgins goes 7-10 on lane 8. She strikes all the way to the 9th, 7-10 again on lane 8, and then 4-7-10 in the 10th for 220. So she had an open, an 8-bagger, or 7-bagger, open for 220.
We're going to switch back down here. We'll have Jen Higgins up on the screen.
Yep.
Take a look at her game here. Maybe we could even, if she throws a good shot, maybe we even do a replay here. Make sure replays work. And you remember how to do that one?
I remember.
All the way on the right. Let's see. Here's Jen
Now
Higgins.
We're going on the right screen.
Up about the second arrow. Boom, there you go. How about a little replay of that?
Let's do it. And then
Here
just
we go.
Hit this.
Yep. Jen
Up on the
Higgins.
right side of your screen. There goes Jen Higgins. Currently in third place.
That's the perfect St. Charles hit right there.
That
High
is.
flush.
It's the nice line, too. She's not too far left. She's not too far right. She's kind of right in the middle. Got that nice soft hand.
Yep.
Pretty crazy to see that only 5 people are plus. I mean, that was based. The scoring pace is actually lower than last night, I think. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's like exactly the same, but Branca got to 150 over after 8 games yesterday, so.
Kyle's taking a break, guys. Yes, Aaron McCarthy's in the field. Just checking in on the chat right now. If you guys have any questions for us that you'd like for us to talk about, we're probably at that point where we could answer some of these questions that you may have. We are coming down to the end of the road here of game number 4. Jen Higgins, as you said, was in. She's in 3rd. Is that correct?
Yep.
Yep. She's in 3rd, and we got her right here up on 13 and 14 for you. Her last name was Petrick. And her sister was an awesome bowler, too, from Ohio. They bowled just about everything. Jen and Josie. She's just, when the pattern's hard, Jen Higgins is tough to beat.
Yeah.
You know, she's also got a relationship with the big guy Ryback, the WWE wrestler. She appeared on a podcast with him in Las Vegas when they were out there. It was a really cool moment for her. She's a WWE fan, and they were on the show. They even talked about me a little bit, and all of a sudden I look at my Instagram, and I'm being followed by a WWE superstar with 2-point-something million followers.
I thought you did an interview with him as well.
No, I didn't. I mean, I chatted with him a little bit and just talked to him a little bit about bowling. He really likes it, but that's a guy who's out there doing the entrepreneur, grind, doing podcasts
WWE,
himself.
Yeah, nice.
So that's really cool. It's a cool story.
That's kind of interesting, right? It's like you would think, for the longest time, you just kind of fell under the umbrella of whatever association you were a part of. You were WWE. You just did literally exactly what they said. But now that the internet is involved, you see a lot of people going off and doing their own thing and creating their own platforms and creating their own voice. And it's extra work.
A lot of extra work.
And
but you control your everything.
But you control your life, essentially.
Yep. Vince McMahon doesn't have anything to do with that, with that show. He can do whatever he wants.
If you're a...
Oh, shoot it down.
So she can still shoot 217 with a spare. Actually, let's go back, right?
If there's one thing here that I wish the female bowlers could do a little bit more, and we're seeing it now, but like a girl like Jen Higgins, imagine if she had like 10 extra revs.
Yeah.
How much higher her scores would be, because that shot right there was a perfect example of just a lack of rev rate.
Yes, I agree. And that's an interesting conversation, because you can get a ball to hook more by having a higher rev rate, but you can also get a ball to hook more by just throwing it slower.
Yeah, you can shorten the pattern, so to speak. The lower the ball speed, the shorter the pattern can become.
Yeah. And in theory, you can get your ball to roll as early as possible. You just got to throw it 1 mile an hour,
That's the great thing about our sport. You can switch balls, you can change your release, or you can alternate your speeds.
Or... do you know the new option?
What's that?
You go two-handed.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Dude, the kids who are bowling so Justin Bone. Shout out to Justin Bone. He is the son of Parker Bone. And that whole group of guys, they started a vlog on their YouTube channel, and I've been watching them. And what I noticed at the Teen Masters this year is there are kids bowling one-handed, and then the next game going two-handed, and then the next game going two-handed back up. And then toward the later duration of the tournament, they had dual patterns, and Justin Bone was throwing it one-handed on the short and two-handed on the long. And that is just unbelievable to me.
It really is.
Like, what is this game? I feel like I'm gonna have to learn how to bowl two-handed.
We got a lot of things going on here in the chat. I really don't know where to begin here. Well, let's address one of the newer ones here, which is, are there any two-handed women here? And we do have a two-handed woman bowler here, and we're going to get to see her, I believe, in the next game. Her name is Daniela Henderson. Is that right?
Yeah.
And
student of Kyle's.
She's what, 15?
Yep.
And it's going to be fun to watch her bowl. We'll have her up for you here shortly.
So, do you think that majority of the PBA Tour in 10 years, 20 years will be two-handed?
Yes.
Do you
And
think
I think they will be able to throw it on either side of the lane, too.
it's going to be all possibilities?
Yeah.
Do you think the women is the same?
Oh, boy.
There's such a late start to the two-handed game that it just hasn't had that crazy effect like it has on the guy side.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
I mean, it would have to be, right? If all the guys in the world that are between the ages of 8 and 20 right now, and even the older generation, Walter Rayler, and like the whole industry is realizing that two-handed is just the way to go.
That's definitely true.
But the women haven't got to that point yet.
So I have I want to bring something up. I haven't really thought about this. I haven't even had this conversation with anybody face to face. So I'm going to have it publicly right now, and I really don't want to be ridiculed for this. I just want to bring this up, right? And Kyle's sitting down now, so this would be a good time for him to maybe listen to what I'm about to say here as well. We're talking about why hasn't the two-handed style become prominent for females, right?
Okay.
And I was just going to bring up one thing is physics and humanity and how your body is made up.
Yep.
A man's and a woman's bodies are made up differently.
Yep.
Is it harder for a female to throw it two-handed than a male based off of how your body is composed?
No.
I
If
believe
anything, it should be easier.
no. I couldn't disagree more with that statement.
For women?
For women. Because of the fact that I do believe that women carry body weight in different ways than men. So women are going to carry a lot of body weight in their hips.
Yes.
And I think it makes it really hard for them to clear their hips. And then
That's what I'm getting at, point one. And then point two is the obvious thing as well on a female. And there's a lot of body torque involved when you deliver it with a two-handed style and the way you have to get your body in that position.
See, I don't see that. I think the two-handed is much easier and simpler. You got like people doing 3 steps in bowling two-handed with a super low backswing, and you get all the weight of the ball on your left hand, and you don't have to worry about your wrist, and women being a little weaker in the wrist and the arm and holding a 15-pound object. And if you just take 3 steps, have a low backswing, and take your thumb out of the ball, it seems pretty simple, right?
yeah, I think they have a hard time clearing their hips. But I think women can do it. I think in the next 5 years you're going to see a lot more prominent women. Danielle here today that I've been coaching a little bit. She's a local bowler here. We should be seeing her soon.
Yeah, she's going to be on the next game, I believe.
Yeah, next
Cool.
game. She is she's 15. She's bowling for 2 years, and she throws it absolutely amazing two-handed. Still has a long way to go in becoming a good bowler as far as learning how to bowl, but she's a prime example of a woman that can have success and throw it really well two-handed. So I think it's possible. I think the women were a little later to the curve in that, but you're going to start seeing it. And actually, I think it's a good idea for the women to do it because, like Brad was saying, you can generate power a lot easier. And if you can get and bowl against the women and, be able to perform two-handed and have that power, I think you can have a lot of success. I mean, there's a reason that Jordan Richard, she's not two-handed, but she's one-handed, and she has a lot of power. And she came out on the PWBA tour absolutely firing because she creates a lot more pin action. She's able to throw a lot more strikes. She carries a lot more. So I think the women in the next 5 years, you're going to see a lot more young women two-handers to the game. And for you guys in the chat, Danielle is going to be on 13 and 14. She's still a very young bowler. She's still growing a lot. She's learning, but she's working hard. But she is at least a testimony that it is possible for women to have a very good form and create a lot of power bowling two-handed.
I also think on the guy's side, Belmo's exposure and just how good he is at running his social media business and all that stuff, he is a big reason why so many young kids are going two-handed now. And the women haven't necessarily had that overwhelming superstar that is two-handed that have gotten all the 8 to 15-year-old women to just pick it up. But I think it's getting there.
All I'm getting at is hips on a female are typically wider than on a male. And to clear that and to do those, I just wonder if it's because of the way a female's body is constructed that it's more difficult to throw a two-handed. I don't know if it's true.
Yeah, I don't know.
But I'm just wondering if that's one of the reasons why.
Yeah, and I really do. I believe the two-handed movement is it's a stronger movement. It's in a more athletic position to get into, and I don't know if that's a reason why. And I'm not saying, if we break it down, women are just not as strong as guys. So initially, I used to think maybe that's why women aren't bowling two-handed, but Danielle is a very young, athletic woman, and she has the ability to bowl two-handed, and she has a lot of power. I mean, she literally has more power than me and Brad. Like, it's as a woman bowler.
As a 15-year-old girl.
As a 15-year-old girl that's been bowling for 2 years.
She has more.
Yeah, and she just left a 4-pin right here. Olivia Sandham tripping out the 10 there over on 15. But, yeah, so we get to see her here for a full game.
I know.
On 13 and 14.
I give lessons to her and her brother, and the pin action that they both get, I dream of getting that. She sends messengers and trips all this stuff. Like, it's unbelievable. And that's the beauty of having the power. So I really think if the women can figure it out, to figure out the two-handed motion, I mean, they need to. It's the way of the future. It's the way of the game.
Why do you think there's people against it? Like, Belmo has to, call out his haters.
Because it's against the grain, man. It's against the norm.
Just because it's new?
Anytime you go against the grain, anytime you go against the norm, you're going to get some hate. It's within the rule books, and it's just, honestly, I think a lot of it stirs from jealousy. I think a lot of it is that if you can't
jealous.
do it. Yeah, exactly. And there's a lot of times I'm jealous too, because two-handed can create some things. Now, there's also times where I think the one-handed
style.
The one-handed style is good.
We just don't see it often.
But what's scary is now we have these kids coming up that can do backup,
everything,
two-handed, one-handed. I think that's going to be the way of the future. I think they're going to learn how to play every single angle, throw it any kind of ways, and they're going to be the most versatile that we've ever seen. So the bowling game is in great hands. Danielle's starting out good here, 9 spare strike.
Yeah, I just think we're seeing such an interesting transition in the bowling industry. Like, when we're 20 years from now, we're going to be, I don't exactly know what it looks like for me in terms of if I will be bowling two-handed, but it almost, like, just watching the youth bowlers just be able to go back and forth as we get a look at did Danielle start out with a double, or is she the spare strike?
Spare strike. Yeah, she came in a little light, left that 4-pin.
What's it look like? Are we going to be just watching all these two-handed bowlers, and Mike, we're going to be in the booth saying, well, we didn't necessarily bowl like that, or it's also unfortunate a little bit for Belmo, because if all the conversations that have been had about how bowling can get to the next level, we need this mega superstar, and Belmo definitely has the personality and the confidence to be that guy. But instead of it being like this beloved person like Tiger Woods, he's got to have haters, and he's got to confront them, and a lot of people don't believe in his style. And there's just some backlash that comes along with the style, which is really unfortunate.
Look at any sport right now, right? Power is what sells.
Look at Bryson.
DeChambeau. Look at baseball. It's all about home runs, right?
Yeah.
I mean, batting averages are lower than they've ever been. It's all about hitting the home run. Rev rate in bowling is not necessarily consistent. If you're having an off day and you're covering a bunch of boards, or your rev rate's really high, it's hard to repeat. It's hard to control something that's moving that much more.
Yep.
But when you can do it, nobody can beat you.
Yeah. Especially, I mean,
a guy that goes up in baseball and hits a single every third at bat, Tony Gwynn, for instance, if a guy gets locked in that's a power hitter and can hit 5 home runs in a 7-game series, that's going to make a bigger difference than the guy that goes up and hits a single once a game.
Yeah, you also notice how on the PBA Tour telecast that, like, if I throw a shot, I've got like a 490 rev rate, and I've never thrown a ball of 490 in my life at 18 mile an hour. Like, I'm 12 mile an hour and I'm 350. But on television, I'm 490 and 18 mile an hour. and I've got a student that's throwing at 15 mile an hour the other day, and he goes, "Oh my God, that's so slow." I'm like, oh, you've been watching too much television. And nobody throws at 18 mile an hour. 15 is just fine. You know, but the pattern also makes a difference. You know, if we were to bowl on a lot of short patterns, Belmo would have to go to the tank and learn some new tricks. You know, because for the higher rev rate, like you said, the control factor becomes difficult. But if you put a bunch of oil out, then it's fine. You know, they could do just fine. But if you put out 35 feet, Belmo all of a sudden has to think, uh-oh, my ball is hooking way too much. My plastic doesn't look great. There's some form of, like, thinking that he has to do or some outside-the-box tricks that he has to come up with.
Got a kudos to Devira Buckley here in the chat from Michigan, saying kudos on her wearing her mask while she's bowling. I will say I was a little iffy about this event in general with what's going on in the world. Wasn't sure how this was gonna be pulled off from a social distancing standpoint, but I gotta say the women are spacing themselves out quite nicely, and everybody in the concourse is wearing a mask. And when we're in the booth, we're not wearing a mask for commentating reasons, but when we leave, we put one on as we maneuver through the bowl. So about as safe can be here. We're also wiping down our area up here before and after every block. When we switch out headsets, I got some isopropyl alcohol wipes up here that I was able to get.
Danielle right here, just a bit outside.
That's her first really bad shot of the game.
That's
here.
a Brad Miller shot right there. It's okay. Just try and hit the head pin, make the spare.
Yeah, not only can Danielle put a lot of revolution on the ball, but she can throw it very, very hard for being two-handed, and she likes to throw it hard. So sometimes for her, that key is slowing it down, letting the ball read a little bit, and that's one of those shots where she likes to get a little amped up. But how's Taylor Bailey doing? We saw her struggle a little bit last night. She was close, had good ball reaction, couldn't quite get it done.
She bowled 237, I believe, game number 3, but then came down to 7 and 8 and bowled 170. And I don't think she was doing very well leading up to that point. My guess would be she's about 60 or 70 under, but I'm not sure.
Well, do we have Game 4 standings by chance?
We do not have Game 4 standings yet. I'm putting Game 3 on the Facebook right now.
Yeah.
We are sort of at the mercy to the tournament directors when it comes to these standings. So if we could, we would post them right away, but we got to get emailed them.
865. We're almost at 1,000. Think we'll get to 1,000 later?
Oh, yeah.
It's early in the morning. People are hungover. Friday night. How's Aaron bowling? How is Aaron bowling?
McCarthy?
McCarthy. I got scores right here, Brad. She is in 14th place after 3, minus 27. Not sure what she had game 4. She's a little out of our viewing area on game 5 here. Taylor Bailey having a good start to this game through 5 frames. They're hard. Double, 8 spares, 7 spares strike. That's what you want to do. Do those multi-pin conversions. You want to be able to pick those, keep it clean.
What ball is Danielle throwing?
Dude, I don't even know. She's got what ball is that?
All right, easy spare.
I don't know. Might have to ask her brother.
Looks like a kingpin rule, if I had to guess. Oh, MVP.
Disappointing you, Brad. That's your company, man.
Rotogrip MVP, and I will say I've never thrown it.
What a staffer.
That might be an MVP Pearl, actually. I think it's an MVP.
You know, I can't say too much because now I'm, what do we have?
I lied.
Affiliated with 7 brands now. So I have a hard time going.
It is difficult to keep up with the bowling balls, gentlemen.
It's
hard.
And as a pro bowler, once you find a couple that you really like, that you know exactly what they're going to do, don't you kind of just feel comfortable knowing that you have those balls?
I have 6 balls that I would take to every tournament for the rest of my life, and
I'm gonna try. Can I guess them? Can I try to guess your?
Yeah.
I bet I can get 4 out of 6.
Yeah.
The regular idol,
Sure.
High Road X,
Yep.
Phase 2,
Correct.
IQ Tour. No, you're not an IQ Tour guy?
Not quite.
Is there like an Alpha Crux in there?
There's an Idle Pearl.
Oh.
If I could have a choice, it'd be the Sherlock
Okay.
over any of the asymmetric balls on the line right now,
And
then a
Pitch Black.
urethane.
Oh, the Pitch Black, yeah.
That's pretty much everything you need. There might be a gap on the low end, but as long as you have an idle and a strong asim and a phase 2, that's all you need on the high end, and then a urethane, a high Rodex, and an idle pearl on the low end.
Is your favorite ball the Phase 2?
Yes. And it's funny because I've told a lot of people over the past couple of years, like, that is the ball you need. And when they get it, they actually agree.
And Kyle, you're in a spot with your 7 brands right now where you're kind of in transition mode, because I know back when it was coming out of Hopkinsville, you were a web guy,
Oh yeah,
right?
big time.
And there were just a bunch of bowling balls that came out of there that kind of became your go-tos, and then now with the shift in things and all the new products, you have to kind of figure out what those new ones are that are your benchmark ones. So kind of what do those look like?
Oh yeah,
now for you.
It's still, and especially now, we had the break and we came out with a bunch of balls like right before all COVID stuff happens, and it's definitely been a transition.
I have to say that proof looks pretty good.
The proof looks really good. I mean,
Proof looks good.
We have 7 brands that we can choose from now, and you can only throw 1 bowling ball at a time.
Right.
So it is almost impossible to have a really good idea of what every ball does, because, and like you said, once I get a couple that I really like, I don't want to do too much experimenting, because I'm trying to shoot the highest scores I know, and if I really like a ball, I like to throw it. But some of the ones I really use the web a lot, the proof. I think the Redemption Solid that came out is one of the best balls that one of the best high-end asymmetric balls that I've seen out of our brands, and any brands for that matter. I mean, that's such a versatile ball. Yeah, the thing was with the proof, I thought that was a really good ball, but then everything shut down and I couldn't throw it. So from the Brunswick side, the uppercut is a really good piece. A little shinier, symmetrical ball out of the box. Couple of the new balls that came out. The bonus, that is a brand new release coming out. I threw that this last week in practice, and I'm really, I'm actually pretty excited with that ball. Yeah, chat, let me know. I'm affiliated with the Brunswick brands. Let me know some of your favorites. I'll give you some comments, what I like, what I don't like. If you have any questions about some bowling balls, let me know. I see the results. I threw the results a little bit. I didn't see. The thing is, we have so many brands. So you know, when I was trying to throw the results, one of the balls that I liked a little better was the Redemption Pearl. So kind of a similar. I wouldn't say they're too similar in shape, but I just preferred the Redemption Pearl. So we have so many brands. You know, it's hard to say that we like all of them, or not necessarily like all of them. We can't use them all. Rodman Pearl was another staple, but that one's a little older now. I'm trying to think, man. Dude, I haven't been bowling much. I don't even remember hardly what bowling balls I was throwing 6 months ago.
I haven't even I haven't drilled any of the newer Storm or Rotogrid balls.
Futura, that was a really good ball, the Futura.
Oh my gosh.
Big fan of that.
Man.
Tough miss there in the 7th by Danielle.
Danielle, like, started out this game really good. You know, she hit the pocket, left that light 4, and doubled, and then after that, the wheels have just completely fallen off here. But 15 years old, a lot of talent, and she, you know, she's somebody that could change the game on the women's side here. You know, as she develops and goes on to college and finishes her college career and then goes out on tour. She is somebody that could have the most titles of all time, really. She's got that kind of
This event is going to be a learning curve from Danielle. I mean, it's going to determine how much she wants it, but she's 15. She hasn't been bowling. This is the best field she's ever bowled against by far. And the nerves are going to get to her. And she's got to learn to, after those couple shots, you got to stay consistent. In bowling, you don't want more, you don't want less, you want the same. And you got to keep that same mindset. And then obviously with the spare picking, she's actually not a bad spare picker, but with the nerves getting to her, with the jitters, you know, picking spares on a harder pattern, it's going to be difficult. So this is a big learning experience for her. I'm really proud of her for wanting to compete against these best women in the world, essentially, and she'll be better after this. This is going to be this is going to test her. She's going to realize, okay, this is what I need to do better in order to get the game where I want. So.
Well, just the fact that she's able to get this experience at such a young age is...
Oh, it's huge, man.
It's huge.
It's so huge. I mean, you don't... One of the best experiences I ever had was starting to bowl junior gold, and I think my first one was at 16. And, you know, bowling around in the St. Louis area, I was one of the better youth bowlers. But once I got to junior gold and really found out what the talent level was like, that's when it really opened my eyes and pushed myself to be a better bowler.
It was a humbling experience
for
you.
Absolutely. The first couple of times I did not make the cut. I did not really know how to bowl. And then you come back, you learn. You realize I can do this a little better. I can do that a little better. And so the next time you prepare and you just get better from it. But if you don't put yourself in those situations to fail, you do not know what you need to work on and you can't grow. So.
Well said. Clip that off.
I had a kid yesterday here ask me what he's got to do to be better. And there's a lot of things, but I think the simple answer is just put yourself around better bowlers. Like, just kind of see for yourself what better looks like. And watch them, go home, practice, do it all over again. Watch better bowlers. But it's hard to get better in league. It's hard to, you know, prime example. I'm sure he might be in the chat, but good guy from Kansas City, Billy Hutch. He was one to go on the PBA 50 tour. And he was stoked. He was turning 50. It was like this new opportunity for him. He was getting better at bowling. And then he had like a bad couple weeks or a bad tournament. And he was like, oh, I don't want to do this anymore because I probably can't hang. And I'm like, your performance and everything you've done thus far in Kansas City has nothing to do with how you could potentially do on the PBA 50 tour. Because you don't know how well you can do because you literally haven't seen any of the conditions out there. It's your preconceived notion that those guys are much better than you. But the only reason they are is because they have more experience. Not simply just because they're just magically that much better than you. The second you go out there and you spend a couple weeks trying to figure it out, it may take a year, it may take a couple years. But once you get that experience down, then you'll be just as good. And if you go out there and you watch guys like Pete Weber throw the ball and you see, or Norm Duke playing the lanes like this, or Walter Way playing the lanes like this, you know, you pick the guy that you feel most comfortable kind of basing your strategy off of, and you try and do it, and you go home and you work at it, and you go back, but you can't see that progress for yourself unless you are tested against quality, high competition. It's the only way to get better.
Just a reminder, everybody, after this game here, we will be taking about an hour and a half break. I believe we're going to come back about 1 o'clock with the next 5 games for you. Then we'll go into a stepladder right after.
Coming to a close, guys. We get a little lunch break.
Also, a little plug here. Tomorrow is the Rayorf Doubles right here from St. Charles Lanes, and I'll be streaming that over on the Inside Bowling channel tomorrow. Larry Husky will come in and talk about that event during the next block.
So, question. Why is it hard for girls to compete with guys?
I think it's completely off power.
Okay. Does two-handed eliminate that?
I think it has the potential to bridge the gap.
So could girls be just as good as guys with the two-handed delivery?
Well, for one, now girls can still beat women, ladies,
definitely,
athletes can still beat the guys, no doubt. But the discrepancy is power.
But the reason they can't compete with the guys on the actual PBA Tour is the rev rate, the transition, the amount that you have to get left, the loft that you have to put on the ball, all those things that generate power. But two-handed delivery helps.
Absolutely.
It
It's going to help bridge the gap.
gets them closer.
100%.
So do you think the greatest literal bowler in the world one day will be a woman?
Brad, why are you giving me these questions?
I'm just thinking out loud.
Do I think a woman is
It's
going to be
possible,
better
right?
than Jason Belmonte? I don't. It's hard, man.
But the two-handed delivery allows for it. A woman can have just as many revs as Belmo.
Do you believe that?
I don't know. Seems close, right? Danielle seems to have a pretty high rev rate.
Yeah.
There was a star two-handed bowler woman going up the youth ranks named Jamie Martin. Have you guys ever heard of Jamie Martin?
Mm-hmm.
She's probably your age, Mike. She was older than me. She was good. She made Team USA one year.
Look, the only thing I want to say about this is the reason why rev rate is so important in bowling is as the oil gets removed, you have to move left, and you have to start crossing boards, and you have to throw your ball left to the right, and the ball has to be able to create enough angle coming off the end of the pattern that it's going to carry. That's why if you can play down and in, second arrow, or outside of second arrow, and get to the pocket, you're going to score higher than if you're playing fourth or fifth arrow, typically, just because of entry angle alone.
Yep, absolutely.
And majority, I'd say 95% of the patterns we've bowled on since I've been on tour has allowed for that get way left, open up your angles with a high rev rate. This year, or this past year in Illinois, we bowled on a short pattern. And
5 more chances.
Norm Duke made the show. Do you remember this? And we were rooming with Norm Duke this week, I think,
Yep.
and he came back home and he said the senior tour would lap you guys on this short pattern. We would have no chance.
Yeah, the thing is, you and Norm share a lot of the same theories, is that they're very bold.
But
And I don't know if that's actually true, but Norm did. And the point of the matter is, guys on tour don't know how to play straight.
And the guys on tour, in order to play on short patterns, urethane is almost a must, whereas Norm has every trick in the book to be able to play a short pattern with any kind of reactive ball almost. So, but the seniors also have a similar style where they grew up in that era and they have that touch that the power players don't necessarily have.
Look,
Right.
just to finish my thought here. When the ball comes off the end of the pattern, you want your bowling ball moving towards the 7-pin for a right-hander. You want your ball driving towards the 7-pin. You do not want your bowling ball going forward. You do not want your bowling ball deflecting to the right. That is bad for optimal pin carry. If you have a low rev rate, it is more difficult for your bowling ball to come off the end of the pattern, the steeper your angle, to move towards the 7-pin. Period.
Yep.
And the other thing that happens on flatter patterns is there becomes a spot down lane that develops that you can throw to from any angle, and it really doesn't necessarily matter where you hit in the front part of the lane as long as it gets to the spot to come off the end of the pattern. If you have enough torque or rev rate coming off the end of the pattern, it's going to set up, go into the pocket, and drive towards the 7-pin. And someone like Taylor Bailey, Liz Johnson, their bowling ball cannot, through physics, drive towards the 7-pin playing from the 4th or 5th arrow. It's just not enough. It's not going to have enough angle.
Yeah, and their ball doesn't have enough energy going into
Correct.
the pins.
Yeah. And that is why when you ask the question, guys against girls, why can't the girls compete against the guys? Because when the pattern goes to that, they have no chance.
And a savior could be the two-handed form, right?
I think he could bridge the gap.
But they could also learn how to throw it like Jordan Richard. Jordan Richard can compete from the 4th or 5th arrow
Absolutely.
without bowling two-handed. Michelle Feldman.
Could, yeah, you're right.
But Carolyn Doran Ballard, Wendy McPherson, Well, Wendy could throw it slow and kind of turtle.
You know who I
hook it.
just learned throws it absolutely amazing back in the day is Tammy Turner.
Oh, yeah, she does.
I didn't know who that was.
Mm-hmm.
Tom Clark shared something on Facebook about her, and I was like, okay.
She threw it amazing.
Amazing, dude.
She had, like, the
She was
best
the
physical
modern
game.
day woman bowler that you're trying to breed before any of that really existed.
Marianne DeRupo kind of hooked it, too.
Marianne DeRupo.
Yeah,
I don't know.
she kind of hooked it, too. There was
I can't picture her.
There was a plethora of them. But the thing Wendy McPherson could do is she could kind of Mark Williams the ball. I don't know if you guys remember Mark Williams, the guy that looked like Ronald McDonald. He could hook the whole lane. Like Wendy could get that trick roll and throw it slow and kind of spin it and get a bunch of angle off the end of the pattern.
Right.
But it was slow.
Well, see, that's like, does Jordan have the same rev rate as me, Jordan Richard?
Probably higher.
Yours no.
Yours is probably higher than mine?
No, I think Brad's is
You
a
do?
little higher. Yeah.
But it's not by much.
Is it because Brad's is more end over end?
No, it's because my ball speed's 2 mile an hour slower.
No, the fact that your ball speed is slower does not have anything to do with how much you're revving the ball up.
Yeah, it does. It gives you more time to put rev on the ball. If you're throwing at 100, your hand has about 0.001 second to put any rev on the ball.
You're saying your release is slower.
If you're throwing it 1 mile an hour, you've got 2 seconds at the release to just rip on
I'd be interested to know your rev rate compared to Jordan
It ain't
Richards.
490, like TV says. It's probably 350.
But
my rev rate.
Verity, Diana, Jordan, they can get in the middle part of the lane.
So
and get it to
absolutely.
drive
Verity
through the pins.
showed that this year at the last year at the U.S. Open, I guess, in Charlotte. She was better than most of the guys on those very difficult patterns.
But because the majority of the field, the traffic is all outside of 10 on these shorter patterns typically to start, and they break them down, anybody that hooks the ball can create a hook spot, right?
On short patterns.
But if you look at the stats, Liz Johnson was the player of the year 3 years in a row when the tour rebirthed, and then Shannon O'Keefe player of the year 2 years in a row. What do they have in common?
They like to play straighter?
Yeah, some people will debate that Shannon O'Keefe hooks it way more.
No,
than Liz
she's a
Johnson.
straight and hard kind of girl.
But in my opinion, when she's bowling her best, she's throwing it about as hard as she possibly can, keeping her angles as tight as possible.
She is.
And she's using a symmetrical piece of equipment, not some big hook monster.
I would say she's probably a little better at slow hooking it than Liz, but
No, she's a lot better. That's not a question.
Yeah, she is.
but her A game is still similar
yeah.
to Liz's.
But
Yeah.
Liz Johnson takes advantage of technology. Marvel S, she was unbelievable with the Marvel S.
The year we went and checked out the U.S. Open in Chicago, Liz Johnson threw urethane from fourth arrow the last 3 games of that pattern, and she shot like 640 or something.
Yeah, and that's grinding it out.
That's a trick. She's very good.
But if Jordan Richards locked in and is mature in her career and could be playing the inside part of the lane, she's gonna lap Liz Johnson, in my opinion, in that situation when she matures.
Now, if Jordan and I have similar rev rates, what is the difference between me being able to play left and her being able to play left with the guys?
The environment that she is constantly put in, because the lanes, how they break down with the guys versus the ladies, they do not see the same transition. So Jordan is going to have a much bigger learning curve as far as the angles she needs to play and still the touch that she needs to have. Whereas when she's bowling against the women all the time, she's not recreating that environment. The lanes are breaking down completely different. So even though you guys might be able to throw it similar, she has a big learning curve as far as getting used to the angles if she wanted to compete, say, on the PBA Tour.
But it's just knowledge, not the way she throws the ball.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it's knowledge.
So just given her rev rate, she could compete with any of the guys in theory.
The thing, in my opinion, too, right now for Jordan Richard is when you watch her bowl PWBA events, and when the PWBA relaunches, everybody that's watching should pay attention to this. She doesn't like bowling on the fresh the first couple games because her ball reps all tell her to play right where everybody else is, break them down, and then move in. She's better late in blocks.
Must have the same ball reps as Kyle.
Yeah. Yep, I feel you there.
All right, so we're waiting on Game 5. You said someone was going to get to 100 over, right? So Julia Bond after 4 is 87. What'd she shoot? How we doing?
Yeah, we're not sure. We're waiting on the tally on the scores for Game 5. We are all concluded for our first qualifying block here at the inaugural Brad and Kyle Women's Open. They just got finished bowling on the Mexico City long pattern. We're going to take a quick intermission, redress the lanes, and we're going to be bowling on a short Beijing pattern.
Why is everyone so minus? What are you doing, Kyle? Kyle picked the patterns, by the way. Yell at him.
They're hard, man.
They are hard. Scores are
we don't
lower
want
than
them
last
easy.
night.
Good scoring pace. Good scoring pace for an event like this.
And the girls are used to the scoring pace. This is what they bowl on tour.
Yep.
So
Yeah, I think some of them. I think we've talked about it a little bit last night, but I think it's safe to say that some of these girls aren't necessarily conditioned. We're not sure how much they could have been practicing, if they're able to get in centers, how much practicing they're able to do. They haven't had really much to bowl, and we kind of threw this event at them with a month and a half notice. So
yeah.
and then the patterns aren't easy. So I think I'm really.
The next one will be a little softer, though, right? Beijing's a little.
I believe the next pattern you're going to see higher scores.
more their wheelhouse.
I hope they're not lower than the last two blocks that we witnessed with last night and tonight, because these girls are going to be fried out. But the scores were really low.
I think Brandy Branca holds the 8-game total record for the MBS. I don't think I beat that this year. 170 over last night?
Yeah, but did you hold the highest before that?
Yeah, because the 2 previous years, it was 40 under and even at Concord.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
So Brandy might.
Brandy's got the record? What?
So what do you guys want to do? You want to take this off the air? And
Yeah, let's do it.
Come back?
Yeah, let's take it off the air. We'll get you.
I'm waiting on Game 4 scores, waiting on Reynolds, and then I'll get Game 4 and Game 5 up on the Facebook page. We'll grab a bite to eat. We'll collect some thoughts and some scores after Game 5. We'll upload those.
We'll be back around 1 o'clock.
Yep.
Right? Maybe
Around 1
just
o'clock.
after.
Yep. All right, guys, thanks for tuning in to qualifying run 1. Give us a little hour and a half intermission here. We're going to get qualifying round 2 underway, and then we have a step ladder finals following that. So, gentlemen, let's take a little break, and
Fun.
we'll see everyone a little bit later.
All righty, guys.